And I believe I am now live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this show. My name is Chris, and this is basically an indie showcase, a chance to platform creators that are looking to spread the message on their comic book, their comic campaign, whatever that may be. And on top of that, this is live. No net. I don't know who the guests are going to be. They might not really know who I am. Are we going to have a good vibe? Well, I'm going to do the best I can to make sure that that's easy and comfortable for them. But yeah, we are going live. If you have a comic or a campaign for a comic that you want to promote, you are welcome to get in the queue. There is a queue already. I will point that out. So you may have a wait, but I've pinned the invite link in the comments, and it's in the description below. As long as you've got, what you need, you can jump in, and we will do our best to, I don't know what, just sort of learn about your comic. Now, I'm probably going to only be able to do for each person, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, maybe 10 at least. I'll do the most I can, and just try to learn about who that person is and why they want to do this comic, and we're just going to have some fun. But this is exciting for me. It's a chance for me to test my interviewing skills. Hopefully, it's giving a platform to some people that could use the boost, right? We all need to promote our books these days. That's not easy. Enough jibber jabber, as Mr. T always told me when I was growing up. We will go. We've got a queue here. I'm adding somebody. Jared Plink, are you there?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
I certainly can. How are you tonight?
I'm pretty good. I just found out about these streams like the other day, and I was like, screw it. I guess I'll promote my comic here.
I love the attitude. Where are you calling from? What's your time zone?
It's like 8 p.m. over here in Florida.
Florida. Awesome. And do you have a comic or a comic project or something like that? What are we talking about with you tonight?
So I have a comic. It's an indie comic, but it's also free to read online. So it's also a web comic, I guess.
It's a web comic? What's the
Yeah.
address? I'll pull it up so that people can see it.
I can just paste it in the chat.
Sure, yeah, whatever is easiest for you. Oh, the chat's telling me Mr. T famously hated jibber jabber. That's not what he told me. I don't know what to tell you. What kind of comics did you grow up reading, Jared?
Ooh, I guess I mostly grew up reading newspaper comics before
Sure.
like slowly transitioning into like manga and some graphic novels. I love Akira Toriyama's work, and I'm really into One Piece right now. But there's
Absolutely
some.
agree.
I actually grew up in Belgium, where they have a
Really?
huge comic scene over there. So I read a lot of Belgian comics.
Bande dessinée, right? Or am I pronouncing that right? Did they just say BD?
I actually lived in the Dutch speaking part of Belgium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have pulled up on my screen something that says DJ Gray and the Other Stuff by Jared Plink. I'm going to guess that is not a coincidence, that is, in fact, you and your work.
Yes. So the comic is called DJ Gray. The image you're looking at now, that's promoting like a little game jam thing we did based on the comic. But if you like go through the like archive or just click the arrow keys or whatever, you can find the actual comic pages.
I go back to first. Oh, This is a really nice, cute style. Nice and clear. Great colors.
Yeah.
Did you draw this?
Yeah, I draw and write everything myself. The comic is 5 years old, so these older pages definitely look different compared to the newer ones.
Here, I'll just do previous so that we see some more of the recent stuff too. Watch the video below. Oh, I see. And if I click, I'm just figuring out the
Yeah.
navigation. Everything's different.
Yeah.
That's probably a terrible way to do it. Oh, and look at this. Is this current? Patreon.com/supper. Support the comic. Early
Yeah.
pages, sketches, and more.
Yeah. Basically, the website and everything is basically just funded from reader support.
5 years you've been doing this?
Yeah, almost 5 years. In August, it'll be
Wow.
5 years.
What kind of a schedule do you update on?
Oh man.
Look at
When I
this.
first when I
Come on.
first started, I would release them in like big batches.
Yeah.
But then I started to just transition into releasing 2 pages like every other week.
Okay.
But the latest story arc finished like early this year, and I've been on hiatus since then because I've had some other stuff to take care of.
Well, you know what? Burnout is a real thing too. You gotta
Yeah,
like
I
be.
I definitely felt burnt out.
And I think that it's better to go on a hiatus, refresh yourself, and then be able
Right.
to like actually attack it when you have some passion for it. But I see some videos too. You've made some videos?
Yeah, I've made a few videos promoting the comic. That was like a little animated trailer I put together.
What's this about then?
Uh, well, this one's a bonus comic I did, but if you go like back and you go like if you scroll down, uh, if you go to the animated trailer,
Uh this one? DJ
yeah,
Gray animated trailer?
yeah, if you just scroll down, you'll see the
Oh,
video
I
there.
see.
Yeah,
I don't know if the audio is gonna.
it's a very simple animation style.
All right, I'm gonna mute that just in case. I hope you guys could hear it. Like, did you? How did you do the voices? Because that was a British voice,
Oh yeah, I just hired like voice actors off Fiverr. They'll do anything.
dude. That's clever though. This is a really charming style. So it's about an alien sort of stuck on Earth, but he chooses to stay here because he's got a crush on a girl.
Yeah, that's basically the premise of the comic. It starts that way, but then it goes into like government conspiracy, like nonsense. It goes off the rails.
That's brilliant. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you've got like so many years worth of material here if somebody's just discovering it. How are you promoting yourself these days? Do you need to, or do you get like
Um,
people that just discover you organically?
well, I have a lot of artist friends that promote me. I basically use this site as like a portfolio for just all my stuff in general.
Look at
But
that. Yeah. This is a nice clean style. This is great for all sorts of stuff. Oh, look at
yes,
that. Some ordinary gamers.
yeah,
That's really
kind of
cool.
I've done stuff for a bunch of different people.
Clearly, dude, you're doing pretty well for yourself, in my opinion.
A little
Look at
bit,
this.
yeah.
What do you have coming up? Anything?
Well, I recently released, I think it was in April, I released the second book. And you
Okay.
can if you scroll up and go to store, you can find the books.
Wait, sorry. Store. Yes,
Yeah.
store. You need like a little more space between these.
Yeah, I'm not good at designing websites.
No, this is good. It's just that I like read this all at once until I actually like mouse over it and then I totally get
Yeah.
it. Okay, so this is the newest one, DJ Gray Volume 2.
Yes.
Dude, that's fantastic. About how many pages is this?
This one, the second one is like 180 pages.
180 pages, $25. I think that's pretty reasonable for something indie. I haven't come across Lulu. What is Lulu?
Lulu is a self-publishing platform that my friend recommended to me.
Perfect.
They're pretty good with the royalties, and the international shipping isn't too expensive from what I've
Okay.
seen.
Yeah.
I had to like go through different publishers because the first when I first did volume one, I actually released it through someone else, and I had that up on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and stuff.
Sure.
But they were like paying me like almost nothing,
Oh.
and like if international people, if you wanted it internationally, it would cost a lot.
Yeah, I've seen that be an issue with things like I haven't done a lot of crowdfunding stuff, but I did do a cover for Vampirella with Dynamite, and the international shipping like really made it almost impossible for anybody to support.
Yeah, and it's really a shame because I have a lot of international fans.
That's so cool to hear.
Yeah.
I can understand why. Like this seems like it would be like something that like yeah, it could appeal to anybody. Like this is awesome, man.
Thank you.
I totally get when you first said the first comics you remember like sort of seeing were comic strips. I mean, you're putting some of that comedic energy into here, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is so cool. Do you go to conventions or anything like that?
No, I have not
No?
been to a convention yet.
I think that like that would be something where some of this merch and the other stuff that you had under your artwork portfolio would actually do quite well for whatever it's worth. But this is really impressive, Jared. Like 180 pages. That's a lot of pages. That's a lot.
The volume 1 is 200.
Oh my God, is it really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go to the Lulu page and just see that. I feel like that's a very reasonable value. Yeah, 202 pages, perfect bound. Good for you. Oh, and you've got it sort of the manga style, more or less, 5.5 by 8.5 inches. Yeah.
Yeah, more or less. I wanted it to be smaller, but there aren't any self-publishing platforms that let you do that exact format.
Sure, I can understand that that's an issue. Dude, thank you so much for being brave enough to come in and talk about your comic. I think this looks like a lot of fun, and I'm glad I've discovered it. If nothing else, I hope that the people in the chat are getting excited. This is a good website too, despite what you just said. Like, oh, I don't know how to do it. No, like this has got everything I would need: a store, about for both the comic and you, the actual pages. So anybody could read this, but if they really like you and they want to support you, would Patreon be the first place that you'd recommend going to?
Yeah, definitely Patreon, buying the book and also commissioning me. I have a commission
Okay.
info page on here. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Very cute. That's great. You know, it's this is your own style. I mean, you see some manga influences, but it's also just like nice and clean and oh, look at that. I'm a Star Trek nerd. I used to make a Star Trek comic. That's funny. Okay, so you can like adjust your style a little bit depending on the project. Got it.
A little bit.
Justin, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to Jared. I said Justin, sorry. Jared, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to promote this. When I finish this episode, I'll be putting folks links in the description. Anything else you want to tell people before I talk to some other folks tonight?
Not really. Just thanks for having me. I'm actually a big fan of your channel.
Jared, you're so nice, dude. Thanks for being up late. I know it's like 3 hours ahead for you, but it was really fun getting to talk to you. I'm looking forward to checking out DJ Gray.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right. Take care. I'm going to move on because I've got like a bit of a queue forming, but it's been great talking to you tonight.
Yeah. See you, man.
Take care. Fantastic. I need to keep everything moving, it looks like, because we've got some more people here. Class Act Jack, get ready because you're up. You just went from the batter's box to home plate. That's a perfect sports metaphor. That's what people tune in for. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Would I be correct if I guessed that your name is Jack or not?
Yes, that is Class Act Jack is my my online name.
And what do you do? What kind of art do you do? A comic or?
Well, yeah, I do. I have a series of multiple ongoing comics, 3 currently under the umbrella of my publishing name, Class Act Comics. Here, I can put a link to our website into the.
Oh yeah, I see the link there. I'll pull that up. And what do you do? Write, draw, everything?
Yeah, I write and letter the comics.
You write and letter.
Yeah,
Let me,
occasionally color, but I have friends of mine who are the artists on the comics.
Oh,
yeah,
that's nice.
I'm not super great at web design, as you can see, but
oh, you don't need to be modest. We're here to promote, so let your ego run rampant. What are some of your inspirations?
Well, my introduction to superheroes as a whole was Batman the Animated Series, and that whole Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, those people,
Sure.
their writing has been a huge influence on my comics to this day. And yeah, as you can see, we have 3 ongoing series. We've got
Right.
Dark Phantom, Wonder Boy, and the Furious Five, all of which take place in the same comic book universe.
Oh, that's ambitious, man.
I know,
Really?
yeah.
But then again, if you're writing it all, I guess that makes it a little easier, right?
Yeah, it's easier to like keep the continuity intact and stuff, and they don't cross over all that very much.
Okay, but the idea is
yeah.
they could. They've got a shared world.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's
Like-
fair. Break it down for us a little. Like, what kind of a genre is Dark Phantom, first of all?
Dark Phantom, I mean, they're all superhero, they're all action,
Okay.
so there's a similarity. But Dark Phantom, I would say, is more a bit of a noir sort of thing.
Okay.
You know, a bit more grounded on like street level crime. He's fighting a lot of mafia people, mobsters. Occasionally, they all fight the occasional supervillain, of course. But Dark Phantom's realm is mainly in the street level people, and then there's Wonder Boy, who is a bit more. That's probably the closest to something like a Batman the Animated Series. Oh yeah, sorry, it opens them in other tabs.
Yeah.
That's probably closest to something like a Batman the Animated Series, where it's more of a fantastical, heightened thing because he's an alien.
Did you send this to me at one point?
I did. I'm a patron of yours.
Yeah, because this looks super familiar.
Yeah.
The Wonder Boy story does.
Yes,
especially.
Yeah, I subscribe to that tier of Patreon. I'm not sure if you're still doing it, but
yeah, where I'll just like give you whatever like kind of feedback and editing I can that you
and
want.
I found that super helpful when I did it.
Oh, that's
so thank
nice
you
to
for
hear.
that. And I don't know if you're still doing that, so I'll promote your Patreon here. You're promoting me, I'll promote you.
You're nice. Yes, sorry. I definitely remember this. I like the art in this.
This
I don't
is
remember
my friend Tristan
I
Dunman.
do like the art.
We've been working together for a long time, me and Tristan. She's done a lot of art for my YouTube channel as well.
Oh, okay.
And the other artist for Dark Phantom and Furious 5 is my other friend Miki Ramirez.
Ramirez, Furious 5. Let's look at Furious 5 because that one's new to me. That one I don't think I saw before.
Yes.
Any chance that the most furious of the 5 Vin Diesel shows up? Any chance?
Oh, I don't want to give too much away, but anything could happen.
Mickey does this? This is nice. This is real nice.
Yeah, he is. He's very talented. I've been working with him. I think I just stumbled upon his art when I was looking for someone for Dark Phantom, and
wow,
he was very gracious to say yes, and we have been working together all these years ever since.
How often do you put this stuff out right now?
It varies, because we're a small team. I self-fund all of it, so it's hard to get it very consistently. We've been on a bit of a hiatus. This is the special presentations. This is where I just put stuff that isn't connected to the main series stuff.
Perfect.
So this is the
one shot.
One shots exactly. And this actually is done by a different artist. The Summer Break is done by my friend Talt Lowe, who he told me he might be in the live chat of this stream. He's a fan of your channel as well.
Oh, that's cool.
He might be here, but we try to do it fairly consistently. I say on the website new comics every month. That is, I'll be the first to admit that's a lie. That's a blatant lie.
I get it, man. Making comics is never easy. It's always a time-consuming process. and everybody wants to do their best, and life happens, especially depending on how much money is involved. Like life happens.
I
but you've got a lot here.
I fully admit I can't afford to pay my artists enough to justify asking them to actually like devote enough time to it. And I'm so lucky that they're willing to work with me at all.
Yeah, I think that you've got some really talented people that you're working with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you really do. That's cool that you're getting to, like, this is a lot. Have you put any of this into print?
We have published, Miki does a lot of conventions. He goes around doing conventions a lot, and he printed out the first issue of the Furious 5.
Oh, okay.
Actually, here, I'll take you on a little trip to my house.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hanging on my wall. Hanging on my wall is
Look
the
at that!
first issue framed of the Furious 5.
Good for
and
you.
Also, right next to it,
Man, that's motivation right there. Having something that's like having a vision board.
Yeah, I look at that every day, and I'm like, this is what it's all about. This is why we're doing this.
Yeah, because I was like looking at the website, and I was like, okay, where, like, you've got all this stuff here to, like, you know, read it. You've got the support us to take you to the Patreon, but I just didn't see, like, say, a store or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just like links to all of your socials. There should be like something that has like your socials.
I believe on the homepage, like at the bottom. Again, I'm not great at on the homepage at the bottom. There's a link to our Twitter.
Got it.
Or our X rather.
That's a little subtle. You're being too modest there. Go ahead and like bump that something like that right up top.
Well, if you want to see a preview for we just released a 3-page preview for Furious 5 number 4, which is coming later this month onto our Twitter. So if you want,
on the Twitter, let me click on it. Let's see what happens.
Take a look at that.
Boom! Is that pulling it up? I think
there it is. Yeah.
Look at this. Okay, nice header.
Our mascot, Nelson the Narwhal.
Who made that?
That's me. I drew Nelson.
That's super cute.
Thank you.
New comic.
And then, that's promoting our release of Wonder Boy number
Preview
12.
Furious 5.
And this is upcoming issue, Furious 5, number 4, Predatory Behavior, part 1.
Dude, that's very impressive. That really is. I always, I like this art style, by the way, on the summer special.
Talt is very good. Talt is a good friend of mine, great artist.
Yeah? I just feel like these are very expressive characters.
Yeah, he absolutely is good at expressing.
Oh wow!
And he's he's also one of those types of artists occasionally. You know what I'm saying?
But that's not not bad at all. Like
I'm pulling his leg.
I know.
I'm giving him a hard time.
Wow. So you've got like a bunch of good relationships, and you guys are cranking this stuff out so that you basically have portfolio pieces to leverage or to print this stuff off at some point.
Yes, I think my next course of action will be printing off a trade paperback for Dark Phantom.
Good idea.
Because
that's a good idea. Even in this digital world where this becomes very easy for people to see, like I can pull it up now. I think, there's people do like having a physical copy of books.
Yeah.
And
I certainly do. Yeah.
That's something you can take with you to conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I'd like to do more conventions myself. And like I said, Miki does a lot of conventions, but I'd like to start doing more of them myself. So.
What part of the country are you in? Because you've still got sunlight up here.
Yeah, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, really?
The sun just sets very late.
Yeah, I guess yesterday actually was solstice, so we are at the longest part of the year. But that's interesting. Oh, right.
Yeah, it's about 8:30 right now. So
and some of these artists that you work with, are you working with them in person, or is it all online?
It's all online.
Wow.
Most of them live up in Texas, so.
That's awesome. Well, if there was like one thing you wanted to drive people towards, what would it be? Would it be like the website, the Patreon, the Twitter? Like I
would say, just go to the website to read all of our comics. And then if you decide you'd like to support us, you can do so on Patreon. And that would be much appreciated.
And what was the name of Nelson?
Nelson the Narwhal.
Nelson the Narwhal.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. That is a very charming and cute little mascot.
He's our little Bugs Bunny.
Jack, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to talk with us about your comics. I hope that this gets you some additional eyeballs on them. you've made a place that's really easy for them to start checking out the work. Like there's like no barrier here for readers to give this a shot. So that's amazing. I hope you continue to build this and that your artists continue to get attention too.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thanks.
I thank you for your time. I'm going to say hello to a few other people, but thanks for giving us some of your time tonight, Jack. Continued success.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Let's see. There I am. Let's see. I will next move on to Dan Wolff. Dan, you're in the order. I've got like just a queue I'm going through. I'm going to add you. Hello, Dan.
Hello, can you hear me?
Wolff, I certainly can. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Lovely. What before we go too far, what's on the back of your wall? Are those like horror movie posters?
Yeah, so back when Mondo did their posters, I got a couple. I got Francisco Francavilla's Frankenstein like duology there. And then I also have some Bernie Wrightson right behind my head.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, and then
I'm super into both of them.
I also have like Frazetta back there. There.
Yeah,
Frazetta, it's his Grendel illustration. I have some Andrew McLean and Duncan Fegredo and Mike Mignola. I have a Heart of Ice poster right there. I got a lot going on.
I love it. You've got such a well put together studio compared to like my weird little basement. I'm a troll down here, but what have you got to promote? What I
got a lot to promote. I've been making comics for a very long time, since I was a little kid, stapling pieces of paper together. And then
you did self-printed stuff.
I would get maybe like 2 pages in. Like I want to do the cover and then like 1 page, and then I would just be like, and then on to the next thing. But
dude, that's amazing. I used to do that before I even knew what comics were.
Right. But I guess I'll start with the one that's the closest to my heart right now, and that's Side Questers.
I've seen people in my chat mention Side Questers. I'm not kidding. I've heard people mention Side Questers.
It's very exciting.
But I don't know what it is yet.
It's a odd couple buddy cop fantasy story that teams a kind of straight-laced warrior with a 9-foot lizard man with a giant hammer, and they become best friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're the writer?
I am the writer and artist. Yeah. So this is issue 1, and I actually have a trade even already that collects the first 8 issues.
Oh my goodness.
So
okay.
I've been at this for a while.
Where are you selling these?
I have them on my website, and I also like show up at, I do different kinds of like, mostly like small press events to sell them and things like that. I do have a link to like, you can actually read it on Global Comics. You can, and I put a link.
Yeah. I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up.
And yeah, it's the story that matters the most to me.
Why is that?
Mostly because it's at least the interactions between them are very personal to me. Like even though it's a warrior woman and a giant lizard man, the dynamic between them is kind of like having a conversation between 2 different versions of myself. And it was all inspired by basically me imagining like what I was playing Skyrim, like what's my character and their follower talking about when they're on their way to the bandit hideout. What kind of conversation would they be having? What's going on there? And so yeah, the idea is they steer clear of the larger narrative, you could say, or they steer clear of stuff that's like, you know, a dark lord is rising and taking over the world. It's like they're not like that. They focus on more grounded, down to earth things.
Would you classify this as more of a character piece, or is it still like a plot heavy book?
It's still a plot heavy thing, but the stories themselves are, or like it is still has more focus on character than I think a lot of fantasy does, because that's kind of a thing that fantasy I feel like is known for popularly, is like it's very plot, and I'm like, I want to put really interesting people in a plot.
I like that idea. I think that's how you make the more far-fetched environments have a story that can still like connect with people, is by having relatable people. I like this lettering. Who did the lettering?
I did.
You did? You did everything?
I made my own font because
I like
I knew it had to fit my art, so I had to do it that way.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. And like kind of tying in. Yeah, I don't know. I fell in love with Bernie Wrightson's inking, and so that's very very important to me, very prominent. But it's got a decent amount of comedy to it, or like good like interactions, fun interactions. But most of the characters are they live in the world, and that's something that I love about, or that I want to bring to fantasy, is I wanted to make sure it's a place that feels like real people live there, that are just trying to like grow their grain and, you know, sell their cabbages. That's, you know, I think,
it's a real world, a lived in world.
Exactly.
And then you also had Haxon.
Yeah. So Haxon, which I have 2 like collected.
Did you send this one in to me yet?
Huh?
Did you ever send? No,
I might have, or some, but it takes place in the same universe as Side Questers, and Haxon is basically a magic user, and it's like Dutch for like witch. Yeah, and I just like that it's a word that is non-gender specific. Yeah, but it just means somebody who uses magic, and they're all like kind of like dark fantasy short stories. This one actually heavily inspired by Mike Mignola's Weasel comic. It's a comic that he did where he did all the lettering himself, but it's not readable. It's like all these weird symbols and stuff, but he's still telling a story.
Yeah, I saw that you did that.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to tell it almost entirely visually.
Interesting challenge. How long have you been doing this?
I've been making comics, I would say, for like 10 years or so, or more. Really? With this, I'd say this all started in the last 5 years. So in the last 5 years, I've done 8 issues of Side Questers and 2 like 60-page volumes of Haxon. That's
a lot, man, if you're doing it all yourself.
And I also have a weekly webcomic.
What's that?
That is 3-panel origin, and that is it's a kind of in the vibe of the Tick, and I create a character and I tell their origin in 3 panels.
There's some more of your art here on Instagram, I'm seeing.
So I just recently got married also.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. That's 3-panel origin, which I'll go ahead and drop that in the chat as well. But it's like people have awkward superpowers. So like I have a character who's called Porta Potty, who he can teleport, but he has to use a porta-john.
Okay.
And so he commits crimes, but he's a little smelly.
He's a little smelly.
And then I also have Bathman, who he was the baby who got thrown out with the bathwater.
Sure.
But he vowed never to leave the bath again, and so he's going to keep the world clean. And I've been doing a lot recently kaiju related monsters. I turned the song Disco Inferno into an origin.
Brilliant.
I also years ago I did one for Rock Lobster.
Rock Lobster.
Where it's just a giant.
These
rock
are good.
monster.
I like the Kirby inspiration on this
So
stuff.
that's my I basically did to Egyptian mythology what Kirby and Lee did to Norse mythology.
Yeah.
So kind of added some, you know, some science fiction and some soap opera to it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and so I've been doing this comic for 10 years. I've never missed a Thursday. I publish a new one every Thursday, and there's coming up on 500 characters.
Oh my goodness! Have you collected any of this in print?
I do. I have a collected volume here. This is the first 3 years, and I went back and I recolored all of it.
Where can folks get it?
So it's all like remastered. And then I even have a book of short stories that take place in that universe. So it's got like basically taking the characters from that world and telling weird little stories, and also, you know, promoting my own comic in it.
And I see that you do have a website here, direwolf with 2fs.com.
Yep.
And then you can go to the store for this stuff.
Yes, indeed.
That's good that you've got that all in one place. What place would you suggest people get started? Like, where would you want them to go most? The Global Comics, the website, the Instagram? Like, where? What's the best starting point?
I would say the website, just because from there you can find everything, the comics themselves. You can go to Global Comics that way. You can find 3-Panel Origin that way. Because, like, yeah, if you're into superheroes and comedy, I think 3-Panel Origin will appeal to you. If you like, you know, character and fantasy, you know, I then there's Side Questers, and if you like weird, dark short stories about witches, then you got Haxton.
What's the next thing that'll come out that people should look for?
This July, I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter for the next 2 issues of Side Questers. So that'll be issues 9 and 10. And so the first volume is the first complete story arc. Okay. And so this is the start of a new one. Nice. Yeah, I'll be putting that out the next, or like launching that in the next couple weeks.
We should look out for that then. I'm glad I came across this. I am definitely going to go down the rabbit hole of the 3-Panel Origin. I can tell that would be something I can do on my phone and enjoy.
To be honest, Chris, this past November, those vintage characters that you've talked about, like the Vagabond and Mask, I actually did an attempt to make them more interesting characters. So I actually did origins for all those characters and Dynamite Thor.
Oh, you've taken some actual Golden Age characters and done something with them. I like it. That's a good idea, Dan. That's a fun idea. I'll say that. And I also just like, by the way, on your webpage that you've got your interpretation of the Herb Trimpe version of Godzilla.
Right. Yeah, that's the first screen print that I got made of my own work. So yeah.
I don't remember Punisher being involved in that story, but I'd like to think that he was.
I mean, the one thing that I knew I had to include, even though he never punched a helicarrier, is I had to include Spider-Man on the side of the building taking a picture, because that's literally all he did in the entire comic, was at the very end take a picture of him leaving.
I mean, what's he gonna do? It's Godzilla.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. Dan, this was super fun.
Well, I've been having fun watching your videos for years, man. So it's really it's a pleasure just to chat with you.
That's kind of you. I'm gonna keep it moving, but I'll definitely have links to your site up once I finish the episode and can edit the description.
Right on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Let's see. There I am. Next up, he's been patient. Eric, I'm bringing you in. Hello, Eric Allard. Now, that's a name that I recognize.
Oh, hi. You just caught me waiting in line to promote my comic.
Hi, Chris. certainly did. I certainly did.
I'm going to give you the salutes.
Double salutes. Eric, you've sent in fan art and stuff. I know that you've been watching for a while.
Yes, I've been following you for a while. You've sold me on all your intros. So I've been watching you from way back. And
Thank you.
I'm following you on Patreon, and every time you you put something up, I eagerly check it out. And to be fair, your videos are awesome to listen to when I'm drawing, so it's always cool.
What are you drawing now?
Can I share? I know that you are sharing, but do you mind if I take the wheel?
Yeah, if you're able to, definitely go for it.
I'm going to try present, share screen. Can I?
I don't know if guests are able to or not. I've never tried that. This is what makes it live.
Oh, wait. Yes, I can. I think I can. Can you see?
I can now.
There we go. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. There we go. Yeah, you've got the wheel.
Just in case you didn't know who I was.
Oh,
Not that
I
you
know.
should know who I am anyway. But
I love your style. It's great. It's vibrant. It's expressive and clean and colorful.
I was just happy to have my my illustration posted on your show when you posted it, so I was very happy for that.
I'm happy to share it. What else are you drawing aside from my bubbling beauty?
Yeah. Enough about you. More about me.
Yes.
I'm working on a comic book right now that I'm going to be at the Montreal Comic Con.
Okay.
Next month. I know that Michael already talked about it. He was at one of those shows. I was at that show when you had him in your interview, and I met him that day. So it was a very good. He was talking about his experience, and I can mirror that experience because he was super nice. And Darwin Cook, Darwin Cook was there also. Wow. I met him there. Super nice. I was there to promote a book that I did at that time. It was called Herobot. I published it on my own. I printed it on my own and everything. But now I'm working on a new Herobot comic that is aimed to be published this fall. However, right now for the Montreal Comic Con, we're doing a preview, kind of a prequel comic for the actual comic. Just to put you in a context, this is the cover for the prequel, but I should probably show this is the cover for the book.
Look at that. That's very striking. I love it.
I'm a huge I grew up with super robot shows when I was a kid.
I can totally see the Mazinger and Guy King influences there. Yes.
And shout out to Studio Lunac, who is aiming to publish this, and they're publishing the prequel. Hi, Serge. Serge has a huge crush on the old Marvel comics, the logos, limited series, and everything. So he put that, and they're also the Shogun Warriors, the kind of logo, blocky logo. So I'm putting all my love on Super Robots on the art, and he's putting it with the UI. Oh, hi, Serge. He's in the chat.
Yes.
So this is my book. This is the cover of the book. This is the cover of the prequel, which will showcase the antagonist of the series.
It's a good design.
He's kind of a half robot, half organic life that he absorbs. He takes the properties of that the alien that he takes under his control, but he's always in control of everything. So this is the book that we're going to be selling at the show, which is next month from 6 to 7, 8 July. So these are a bunch of pages that
looks so good.
Thank you very much. There's a lot of sweat and love in those pages. I'm also a huge fan of the Samurai Jack creator.
Oh, okay, sure.
I love his more graphic style.
Yeah.
So maybe not too much outline. The shapes are made by the colors. So I like that a lot. So
yeah, I like that when you're drawing, you're not using like the black line holds that like on everything that you're drawing, which like we just do in comics and don't think about, but isn't necessarily realistic. I like that you're just doing color holds.
I've always felt like kind of an odd duck in the comic books. I know a lot of people in the comic industry. I've worked in video games for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So I worked at Freitas Studio, which is a studio in Quebec City. I've worked for almost 20 years. So my main focus was more on that than the comic book. This was a sideline. But recently,
what's your art background, real quick, Eric? Like, did you get any professional like training?
I did not. Well, I've worked. The funny thing is that I wanted to work in comic books early in life. I worked at a studio in Montreal, and the studio that me and my friends had was the studio of Yannick Paquette.
Oh yeah.
Yannick moved like 2 houses away, and so he gave us his apartment, so we rented the apartment.
Wow.
So he was like 2 houses away. So sometimes I would draw, and then I would go to his house. I would knock at his house and show my art, and he would give me critiques.
That's fantastic. Folks, I mean, this is the guy that's doing stuff like Wonder Woman Earth 1 with Grant Morrison. Like, that's a big name to get some feedback from.
Yeah, and we might get a variant cover, maybe.
Oh,
could I share it?
You can share whatever you're comfortable with. I'm curious. I like what I see. Oh, look at that.
So this is for the number one that we are aiming to have for this fall. We are trying to recruit more artists to do more variant covers.
That's a good idea these days. It really does seem to be something that catches interest. So yeah.
But when Serge from Lunac showed me the cover, I was at first glance I was like, "Wait, who did this?" And then I looked at the lady and I said, "Oh, that's Yannick. That is absolutely Yannick."
That's so fun.
Yes, and just a little funny note. When I got the cover, so when I got in touch with him and I told him that he was mean because it was Monday morning, and I told him that now my week is just gonna go downhill from there.
No,
and he told me
no.
he told me that he lived to destroy people's week, and then the next day I lost my job at Frima. So
okay,
and I'm not saying that to be a downer, because I've been working more since I lost my job. Doing this, and I've regained a lot of passion for it, doing it more full time. And it feels good to draw without having to think, okay, now I have a block of time now to do this, but I have to think about tomorrow because now I got to go to work, got to deal with the kids, got to do this and that. All this free time, it's been very, it's like a second chance maybe.
Yeah.
I have a block of time in front of me and I want to focus on that. And if I can keep doing that, that would be great. So people come to the Comic-Con, buy my books, like Robert Kirkman would say. And
yes, he would.
So
you've got to be a salesman. But yeah, Herobot, the mighty Herobot. So that's going to be a 3-issue series plus the prequel?
Yes, the prequel. There's going to be 3 issues. I'm already preparing a new story for after that. So those are the plans.
Oh, that's great.
Kevin Smith will be at the convention, so I might ask him to sign one if I manage to put my hands on him.
You should. I think he'd like that. Oh, I like that guy.
Yeah, that's the
main one?
No, that's just my friend Serge told me there was Mazinger and there was one called Grandizer.
Grandizer, yeah.
So this is kind of my take on him.
We'll send it to Go Nagai and get his 2 cents.
Please. And if you know how to get in touch with him, please let me know.
No, I guess I don't. But
so yeah, this is my passion.
I like that.
This is my love of comics.
So when you do the art, you're doing the color and stuff. What about is somebody else doing the lettering, or are you doing that?
I do a first pass, then Lunac looks at it and says, "Nah," and they change it completely. And they should, because they do great. The way that they do it is great. But when I set up my lettering, I try to put it as close as the way I see it. Like the swoosh that you see here, I have put a swoosh in the same direction. So they kind of follow But I always tell the guys at Lunac, Serge, if you have a better idea, if you feel like it works better, change it. I don't mind.
That's great. Yeah, best idea wins. So say somebody really likes this. I like it. Where can people get this? Like,
Well,
I know it's not out yet, but where can they get it
It's
if
not
they
out.
want to get your books?
It's going to be right now it's an exclusive for the Montreal Comic Con. However, if you want to read the comic online, it's online now. It's my version. It's kindacoolcomics.com. You can find
Kindacoolcomics.com?
Yes. However, the printed comic that will be released has more pages.
Got it.
It's going to be more filled because when I released it online last year, and I even bugged you a bit about it.
Yes.
Serge came to me and said, "Hey, you almost have 3 comics worth in there. Can you add a couple of pages for the story?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I can absolutely add some meat to the bone." So we've done that. But yeah,
that's awesome, Eric.
Thank you.
I hope people will consider checking this out. So we've got kindacoolcomics.com, and you can learn about it, see some early online versions, and then Lunac Comics is going to be printing.
It's called Studio Lunac, and they're doing Assassin's Creed comics with Massive Publishing.
Oh wow, that's really impressive, man.
Yes.
That's really, really cool. Thank you for taking a few minutes to talk about this. I sincerely like it a lot. It definitely pushes my buttons.
All my
excited.
Thanks are to you, and props for the other people before me, because I know it's hard work to put a comic together.
Yes,
I did one on Kickstarter a few years back, an anthology book with a couple of friends who are now working at Dargo. Bande dessinée européenne, Chris. That's how we say it. A bande dessinée européenne. Des albums.
Okay, I probably need to hear that a few times. I'll have to rewind this.
It's fine. It's fine how you say it. It's fine how you say it. We know what you mean.
Thank you. I think your work is great. I sincerely mean that, Eric. I hope that the print edition helps really spread the word on your art, and I just wish you every success.
And who knows, maybe we'll talk back again.
That would be a lot of fun. Absolutely, that would be fun.
And good luck to your show.
What?
And good luck to your show. I hope everybody watches your show and that you get a huge following, because you deserve it.
Well, then I'll say au revoir, and I will talk to you another time.
Thank you very much. I hope we talk again soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. Let's see who is next. I'm pretty sure it is a good friend of mine. Troy, you're muted, but welcome to the show.
Oops. Hey. What's up, Chris?
Hey,
how's it going, man?
You got some sort of sports going on in the background?
Sports? No, wait, can you hear something?
For a second I did, but now I don't.
Okay, good. These headphones are new, but they're a little janky, so I don't know. We'll see if it works out.
I already know what to look up for this. Troy and I
cool.
have known each other, oh my God,
Oof.
maybe more than 15, maybe closer to 20 years we've known each other.
20. Yeah, my first comic was in 2008, and we took it to Small Press Expo in 2008. And I'm pretty certain I ever met you at Small Press Expo in 2008 or 2009.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm looking on.
I was actually.
Go ahead.
No, I was actually looking for this photo that I have of us. I couldn't find it, but there's a picture of you at your table at the Small Press Expo.
Oh my God.
It's somewhere around. I'll be sure.
I had a lot of fun at those Small Press Expos.
Oh, yeah.
That was Troy and I were both part of a group of local comic book artists and writers, kind of indie stuff, called the DC Conspiracy. That's still around. But that's how we met, and we would all share space at Small Press Expo and things like that. Troy, I'm trying to pull up the link for the Kickstarter, and I'm forgetting exactly what to call it right now.
Oh, it's AfroFutures, all one word.
That's what I thought all one word. Maybe that because I put it in as two. Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold-
I actually recently discovered that is a
Oh,
fatal
boy.
error.
Okay. That's
It's the
so
things
funny
you
because
don't
I
think
kept
about.
typing it in and I was
Mhm.
like, am I forgetting it wrong? No, I was just putting a space. I was putting a space.
But yeah,
But
yeah, it's one of those things, man. Like, yeah, if I knew that the SEO gods would not have blessed me if I had made it 2 words, I would have not done that. But
well, you basically just launched this
yeah.
anthology series.
Mhm.
Uh so you're like editor, you're writer, you've got a lot of talented artists, but I
Yes,
know
sir.
what it is. Why don't you give like the high level pitch to the viewers there to tell them what AfroFutures is?
So it's basically a concept album in comics magazine form. And the way that I've been kind of pitching it to certain people is like uh, heavy metal magazine, Mad magazine. I've been looking at the old Marvel Treasury editions. I got a Jack Kirby 2001 Treasury edition behind me over here that I've been
I have
flipping
that
through.
too. So
Yeah.
good.
Uh-huh. And I'd like, it really is like an attempt to kind of give people a lot of bang for their buck and, just kind of create like, yeah, like you said, a anthology experience. And I think sometimes now when we say anthology, people think graphic novel, but that's not what this is. It is a magazine. And
Okay.
so it's going to be the size of it's going to be a little bit bigger than a magazine. It's probably going to be closer to the Treasury editions
Yeah.
that Marvel used to put out. And it's hosted by 808. She's a robot DJ,
Yep.
an AI DJ. Basically, she is remixing history, present and future. And she's a master of ceremony of all these stories that play out throughout the course of this.
Like your Crypt
3 of the
Keeper if
stories.
it was horror.
Oh yes, absolutely. Like I've been joking. I've been joking to people, like, depending on your age, right? I've been telling them it's either the Crypt Keeper or Tom from Toonami, if you want to go that route as well. That's also an option. I've also been equating it to Love, Death, and Robots, which was a Netflix
Yeah.
series that I loved.
Sure.
So yeah, definitely that is the vibe I'm going for. I also saw someone today on Facebook mention Liquid TV, and I was like, that's baked into the DNA too of this
I
as
can
well.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
definitely.
don't know if I ever like shared this with you. I mean, obviously, I'm a big white nerd, but here's the thing. I grew up and from like 84 to 94, almost all I listened to was hip hop and rap.
Oh yeah,
So
right.
yeah, like
Mhm. I mean, you're
I
like you're Gen X, right? You're in the Gen
I'm
X
Gen
category as
X,
well.
so
Right.
I was growing up with Run DMC and Beastie Boys, but then
Mm-hmm.
you get into like some stuff that like is just good, like I don't know, Eric B and Rakim, and you start seeing like the East Coast, West Coast stuff crop up, and then I sort of started phasing in a lot of other kinds of music, like as I went
Oh
to
yeah.
college. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
No, it's
I love this history.
I'm definitely of the
Look at
MTV
that.
generation as well. I'm not quite. I was telling someone earlier this week in another interview. I'm 5 days removed from being Gen X.
Yeah, I know.
So
I'm a little.
yeah, I was 1981, so I was like January of 1981, so legit like 5 days after the to make that cut. But yeah, I am of the MTV generation, so a lot of this stuff is baked into my DNA as well, like the heavy metal movie, the
Yes.
heavy metal magazine. I
Yep.
mentioned Liquid Television, of course. I ate all that shit up, man. So like, and the thing I love about that stuff is it really does give you like an experience when you're going through it. You know what I mean? Like an
Yeah.
episode of Liquid TV is like 30 minutes, but at the same time, you're like, wow, I just got a lot in 30 minutes. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do here.
I
So
get that. By the way, you've gathered some really talented people
mhm.
onto this book.
Yes.
I did
Yeah.
not know ACO or Bliss, but I love the
Mhm.
pages that I'm seeing here.
hmm So I will definitely recommend, if you are a fan of Nick Fury, which I
Yeah.
am very much a fan of Nick Fury, go check out ACO's Fury book from Marvel. It came out a few years ago.
Okay.
It's just a big love letter to Jim Steranko, and
Oh,
it
right
is
on.
amazing. Yeah, it is amazing, absolutely amazing. It's written by oh god, I can't remember the guy's name now. He wrote this British superhero comic called Class War, and a bunch of other
Oh,
stuff. And I can't. Rob Williams.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Brand
yeah.
release.
Mhm.
By the way, I like this one because it looks like
Mhm.
Jazz Age superheroes.
So the idea here is like I heard earlier one of you guys was talking about bringing back Golden Age characters, right?
Yeah.
So this a big part of what I'm doing with AfroFutures is I'm really big into mythology, right? Like I
Okay.
was one of those people that watched that Joseph Campbell, George Lucas documentary short like a million times. Like, you know, that is also baked into my DNA, right? And so mythology is really important to me. And oftentimes what I've noticed, especially with black characters, is that they don't really get a second act, right? And it just so happens
Okay.
that Ace Harlem, and I'm not saying always, of course, that's not always true, but there are a lot of instances where they don't. And it just so
Yeah.
happens that Ace Harlem from All Negro Comics #1, which was printed in 1947, right? Um, uh, had this story in this comic, and he never got the chance. They never got a chance to follow up in a second issue. And so the concept here is doing this superhero book called All Negro Squad, right? And the idea is that Ace Harlem and another character by the name of Lion Man, who's also in the All Negro Comics #1, uh, uh, the concept here is what if they just kept having adventures, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, and so from 19 and so in my mind, you know, I'm a big comic book guy. Like, you know, I work for Diamond.
Absolutely.
I'm doing I've been a store manager, all stuff. I love comics. So my perspective of this is that, like, okay, if All Negro Comics #1 continued, then it would follow the pattern of a lot of comic book history, right? So then you would get the 1950s transition into horror. Frederick
Okay.
Wortham would show up, and then the book would kind of like try to like just be kind of
Sci-fi.
milk toast,
Yeah.
milk toast and sci-fi at the same
Yeah.
time, right? And
Lots of
then
aliens.
just you're right, lots of aliens, right? And then Justice League would roll around, and then Fantastic Four roll around, and then it would transition
Team
into a team
superheroes.
book, a superhero
Yeah.
book, right? Like, and so that's where I got the name All Negro Squad.
Okay.
And so we basically it is a riff off of All Star Squadron and all that stuff too, right?
That's
Um,
history. Yeah. I
that's
love it.
history, right? Yeah. And so like, so we go through it.
History
So
that
in
could
my
have been.
mind, the history that could have been. And so what I've done here is this story that I'm telling in this particular comic takes place in 2012. It's during the second inauguration of President Obama. Ace Harlem is like known as this crime fighting, like, vigilante superhero, right? And so he teams up with John Henry and Lion Man's granddaughter and his ward, which is a kid named Streetwise Hercules, and he brings his granddaughter along, and then white supremacists take over the inauguration, and so they have to save President Obama. Like,
That's
that's the
fun.
concept.
That's
That's
fun.
fun. Right. Come on, that's fun, right?
Dude, I like just looking into like these like early black superheroes. There's it's so forgotten, but there was the Red Mask from like
Yes.
1939 in
Yep.
something like, I want to say Best Comics #1.
Best comics, yeah. Right.
And I
There was
think there's
also
only maybe
Lobo.
like a dozen copies in the world of that thing.
Right. Yeah. There's like Lobo, the Western character. My hope is that once we get rolling on this and this
Yeah.
first issue comes out, hopefully people will respond to it well and we can do another one. But I really want to do is just bring a bunch of Black Public Domain characters into the All Negro Squad. And we
That's
just
all I
catch
was
up with
sort of
them.
like thinking. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we're vibing on the same lines. I hope you
Oh,
do.
Yeah. And we just catch up with them at different points in history. So, like, what was going on in the Silver Age? In my mind, Ace and Lion Man were like Lantern and Arrow in like the late 60s, and I'm sorry, in the 70s. So like they were having these socially conscious adventures that were also like sci-fi and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, just kind of leaning into that stuff.
I love this piece of art here by
that is
that
Lee Walls.
Lee Walls? Yeah. Reminds me of kind of early Eric Larson. Do you see any of that?
I could totally see that, actually. I could totally see that. Yeah.
I don't know why it just hits me. Not the only artist I see in this, but I like that. This looks fun, man. And by the way, I you just launched this.
Yes.
26 days to go. And look, you're almost at your goal. You're almost I'm positive you're going to crush the goal and get into like some what do you call them? The bigger tier rewards, stretch goals. I'm sure you're going to get into stretch goals.
So I don't have any rewards for stretch goals, so we're just going to keep rocking and rolling.
Hey, the most important thing is just getting the book into people's hands. You can always get things like, variant covers or a matte finish on the cover if the money's there. But yeah, the nice thing is just getting this book out. How did you meet all these different creators that you've got? Like, are these people that you know in real life, or are these people that you mostly met online?
Some people I've met in real life, some people I know online. It was really important to me to prop up Black creators.
Sure.
And not only that, but also to make sure that, like, I've been telling people this, the artist on the cover, with the exception of ACO, because it was kind of expensive. But the artists on the cover are also inside the book, right? Like we're not doing the Marvel DC thing where, like, they pulled a little okey doke. And so the beautiful thing about this is it just so also happens that I know a lot of really great artists, and some of that is because of working at Diamond. It's from going to shows like the Small Press Expo, like, it's just going to conventions in general and meeting people. And so my attitude is like, look, Marvel and DC's loss is AfroFutures gain, and that's exactly how we're going to play this. Like, we're just going to get like the best of the best.
I'm going to say another thing that works for you, Troy. You're a nice guy. People like working with you.
Thanks,
you're fun to talk to. You're creative, and you can be like counted on to follow through. Like, even in the days when we met and there was zero money involved, realistically, we were losing money on some of the comics that we made. We did it for the love, but you were still putting stuff out. You were putting out like a wrestling comic back then.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, absolutely. Yeah. No, and like, I mean, like, my whole thing is like, I think comics should be fun. I think comics should be a little crazy, right? I think that's what makes comics. I don't think the comics necessarily should be structured or paced or experienced like a movie. I feel like they should be this radical, crazy fringe thing, right? And then I like there's a part of me that like looks at guys like Kurtzman, and looks at guys like just looks at all these different like creators like Grant Morrison and stuff like that, and I look at their work and I'm like, I want to do the crazy shit.
I know.
You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. I want to get eye-popping art, and I want you to just kind of go for a ride with me. So that's what AfroFutures is delivering.
I know that you know a lot about comics and comics history, so I can't wait to read this book. I'm excited. I'll definitely be supporting this, and I was just really excited that you had a few minutes to jump into this show. I hope that you can take this clip and use it to push this out to more people. I want as many eyeballs on this as possible. I trust you to deliver a really good comic here, man.
No, absolutely, man. I'm encouraged and emboldened, which is dangerous and exciting.
AfroFutures, folks. One word. It's on Kickstarter. Anything else you want to promote while you're here, though? All quiet on the previews front right lately. I mean, if you guys aren't familiar, you can hang out with me at previews. Chris and I actually did a fun episode about manga and comics, manga and American comics, I should say. Yep.
That was actually fun and enlightening, and just a good back and forth between like four people that are familiar with the format, and that was really cool. And I'm hoping to do more of that stuff in the near future. So thank you. I see somebody said, "Cool, keep comics weird." Comics can crazy just like movies and video games, right? So yes, absolutely, probably more so.
Yes. Now I appreciate everybody in the chat room being so supportive and kind. I think this sounds like a blast. I'm gonna talk to some other folks, but best of luck pushing this as far as it can go, Troy.
Absolutely, thank you, Chris. I appreciate it, man.
Always fun talking to you, dude. I'll talk to you online.
All right, catch you later.
Take care. That one was extra fun for me since I know Troy in real life, but we're going to keep moving because there are other people in the chat. So Zach, I'm bringing you in. We're just going to keep rolling.
Cool.
Hello, Zach Chapman, brackets, A Haunting on Mars.
Hey, I'm Zach. I'm a writer. I also letter comics.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, I letter my comics. I've lettered other people's comics, but I prefer to letter my own.
I understand that.
I wrote this A Haunting on Mars comic. If you just Google A Haunting on Mars review, there's a bunch of actually pretty awesome reviews. And
comics?
Yeah, well,
but also Kaboom.
It was on Scout, and then it is no longer with Scout. So it's just
here's what I'll bring up. Yeah, right. I
so,
get it. You don't want to like get into that. None of us do.
Oh yeah,
I get
Kaboom has a nice review, and they have a bunch of like images so you can see what it looks like. And then that third link is my Kickstarter.
Is that up now?
Yeah, that's it's in pre-launch. I'm going to be launching this Kickstarter. This is for the first 3 issues. I'm going to be launching that on next month, early next month. I just want to crack that 100 followers, and I'm also getting some proofs. So I'm getting some metal proofs. The one cool thing that Scout did is they printed some metal proofs of these. It might be hard to see in the video.
We can see a bit of reflection there.
So these are actual. I mean, in person, they look they look incredible. But like they're not like a holographic. They're like actual, like a steel bookcase, a steel. Yeah, and they open up like real comics. So I have some stuff like that going on with my Kickstarter. And it's going to be issues 1 through 3. It's a 5-issue series. It's a cyberpunk horror book. Rory Coleman is the artist. Steve Cannon is the colorist, and I'm writer and letterer. And all of the work is done. It's just now I'm like working on marketing and getting the books, ready to be printed, like working on basically the Kickstarter. I mean, it was in issue 2 was in solicits. I can't really get too much into it because I had to sign certain documents to get my rights back. But
yeah.
Anyways, it's no longer at Scout. I get my full freedom to print this however I want. So I'm doing my own thing, and
I think
that's
great.
What I've got going on there. And I do a lot of horror comics.
Do you?
Where
do you do them?
Yeah, I sell them on my website, but mostly at conventions. You could probably just type House of Blood, Zach Chapman, and it'll come up with the Kickstarter, I'm sure. And it's an anthology series. I kickstarted that 2 years ago. And I kickstarted 2 months ago. I kickstarted The Spell Slinger Volume 1. Yeah, that's probably what I'm most.
That's sharp artwork.
Thanks. That is who is that? That was
probably tell us in here. Look at that, looks great.
Rafa Labasco did.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, and he's doing 007 right now with.
Yes, he is.
Martinez.
That's why it looked familiar.
Absolute darling. Like I love working with him. He's really cool with indie creators, and just brings my crazy ideas to life. That's a story called Tree App, and Dean Kotz is the pencil inker, and Chris O'Halloran is the colorist. Chris O'Halloran's like on a bunch of books. He's awesome. Great colorist.
You've got some sincerely great artists here.
Oh, thanks.
No, this is something.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
I'm currently working on the second volume, but it's like I'm juggling a lot of projects, and so that might come out probably sometime next year, volume 2.
Got it. The first thing is the Haunting on Mars Kickstarter, and that launches next month as soon as you get to 100 followers.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. I still I want to get those metal proofs back. I paid for them. They just haven't shipped yet, and I'm using the exact same printer as the redacted publisher. So they will look really. It's not going to be this art, but it will look. I mean, it's going to be shiny and it's going to be metal. And I've got a bunch of. I have basically 3 covers and 3 variants, so 6 covers. They all look super awesome. On one of those review sites, I'm sure you can see some of the interior Yeah, the Kaboom one, that'll have a bunch of
Okay.
the art.
Let's do
and
that.
He said like really nice stuff. So yeah, Rory's
Aw.
art is just crazy good.
Yeah, definitely. Backgrounds, clear storytelling. Yeah, that's fun.
The premise
What drove you to say, hey, I have to write comics? Like, what were some of the inspirations behind this, Zach?
for this, the biggest inspiration were more literary and less comic books.
Yeah.
So Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House, Richard Matheson's Hell House.
Yeah.
They're two big ones. And then I wanted to take the plot structure of those, which they have the exact same plot structure, which is
right.
House on Haunted Hill has the same plot structure as well. And the same tropes. So I wanted to have that plot structure and tropes, but I wanted to have like the setting of like something that William Gibson would write.
Okay.
So like Neuromancer, or
yeah.
I mean, even something like Blade Runner would be a comparable. And then what it comes out feeling most like is like Philip K. Dick a little bit, because it's obviously it's like action heavy, because I love comics and that's what I read most of, but like the inception of like the idea for this series was more like, how do I combine these two different ideas into something, and that's where A Haunting on Mars came. Like that's how it came out.
This has gone up 2 followers since we started our interview, so if we keep talking, maybe we can end with the 100 and you'll have to launch it right this second.
That would be awesome.
Legally, you'll be obligated.
I'm obligated. I still have to. I'm learning. Like, there's so much stuff that goes into comic creation that's like not comic creation. Like marketing, and now like I've taught myself how to do Premiere Pro. So like I'm making all of like the promo videos and stuff. So it's like I'm still. Kickstarter wants you to have a promo video, so like
they do.
Once I have that done, I will be launching. So probably within like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's sensible.
I see Dan Wolff saying there, House of Blood. He's read a bunch of my House of Blood stuff, and I love side questers. I actually read side questers like last month, and it is really cool. It is exactly how I said. It's a buddy cop. Not a buddy cop, but like a buddy adventure story. And I love it's like this person who's completely like not familiar with the culture of the fantasy of like the gods that are in his setting. I know I'm like pitching his book, but yeah, folks, check out Dan Wolff's book. If you're gonna check out my book, you got to check out his book too.
I just want to interrupt to say, look, promoting each other isn't easy. People have limited budgets for fun stuff right now. Like a lot of us love comics. We want to spend money on comics. We can't buy every comic that we want all the time. We don't have the budget. I see it at conventions these days. People like have to make really tough choices when they go up and down Artist Alley. So, if I can just use my platform to let people like get the word out to even a few more people, or, sometimes put these people in touch, or just to even hear cool stories of other people promoting each other. I think that that's super important. We don't want it to be incestuous and only each other buy each other's books, but there's definitely people that are going to be passionate about the same idea and will have some discretionary income they want to use to support this. I mean, look, I just keep refreshing it, and the follower count keeps going up from when we started. So that's nice. You're at 97.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that's
it's a small, it's a drop in the pond, but 2 or 3 people that are hyper engaged are worth a lot.
Yeah.
So this looks exciting to me, and the fact that you've convinced some real top tier artists to work with you is encouraging to new people like me that are like, oh, this is new to me, but maybe I want to support it. I mean, this guy can obviously convince some talented artists to work with him. Those Rafa Labasco pages looked fantastic. I just will say that again.
He's so good. I love him so much. He did the first story and the final story in House of Blood.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's so good. But
there's a lot of great artists here.
What I did was I just stalked every artist that I loved on Twitter, and well, no one tells you how to do this. So for other writers out there or people looking to make anthologies, follow hashtags like commissions open. And you can find really good artists that are just looking for work. And
that's an interesting piece of advice. Hashtag commissions are open.
Yeah, commissions open. Another one to follow is Portfolio Day.
Yes.
That's a huge one. And if people are promoting their portfolio, when I say people, I mean artists, it usually means that they're interested in finding work. And so if you have House of Blood, it's a little bit easier sell because House of Blood, the stories are between 7 and 14 pages.
Yeah, not as much of a lift as doing an ongoing 22 pages a month.
Yeah, I'm not pitching artists like, hey, I got I've got $1,000 and 6 issues. It's not like that. It's much more like, hey, I've got 8 issues and people are starting to get familiar with my work and they more like to work with me. So, but yeah,
that's good advice.
Those are like the steps that I had to learn on my own that I really wish someone had said, because when you're just starting out looking for artists, you just have no idea what to do. Kubert School, they produce really great artists and they're at a pro level and they're just getting out of school and they don't have any professional work yet. So they'll hop on. They're more likely to hop on projects and have an open slot.
I'll just jump on to that. Savannah College of Art and Design, Rhode Island School of Design, like RISD and SCAD, both 2 universities. People may want to look for artists that are, about to graduate or looking to pick up some early professional experience.
Yeah, that's I feel like that's the way people rise up. That's how to you gotta get an artist that you can afford and then start making comics.
Yes. Actually make them. But I like that you're saying afford, let's compensate these people for their time and effort. I think that shows a belief in yourself too, when you're willing to at least give something towards getting it moving.
It takes, you have to be willing to take a hit. And I think it's taken me, so that I published this and this did well on Kickstarter. It did 7,000. And, but still
that is good.
Yeah, I wish it had done better. But
sure.
I think it's been about 2 years, and I've finally started to see a profit. So it's a long, it's a long. You're playing a long game. Spellslinger is a little different because I didn't have to. I did not fund this. I had a TV and film producers fund this.
Oh, okay.
And so I actually did make some money on this guy.
Wow.
This one's just a graphic novel. Actually, this one is coming out from. I did get a publisher, Blood Moon Comics, so it will be at local comic shops.
Good.
Later this year in November, they're serializing it.
That's great. That's great.
If you're into Weird West, ghost stories, the Spellslinger will be in solicit in a couple months. So be on the lookout for that. Or you can always slip into my DMs and I will sell these things. And it will be available on the A Haunting on Mars. I have a limited amount because it is getting an actual publisher. So the ones that I have left over, I got about 20. So
okay, that is a limited amount. Let me ask this, Zach. Say somebody wants to just keep their eye on when you're gonna, get Spell Singer launched or something like that, or they just want an update on Haunting of Mars, like what would you say is the place you'd want to direct them?
The easiest place is probably like my social media, which is at Chappy Zach, ChappyZach. And I tweet all of my updates. I've got a Haunting on Mars, which is launching next month, and then Kaiju Blues, which is launching on Kickstarter the month after that. So I'm trying to keep a packed schedule, or I'm trying to like pick up steam with all the projects that I'm working on.
That's awesome, dude. This stuff looks really impressive. It seems like you have you're a few horse lengths ahead of a lot of people that we talk to. Like, you've gotten some of this stuff published, you've had a successful Kickstarter. I know that like you want to have more behind you, but you've got some momentum going, is what I'm saying. You've got some good momentum going.
Thanks. Yeah.
Congratulations.
I've been working very hard for 4.5 years or so on all of these various projects. But
that's awesome.
For longer than that, I wrote prose fiction, and I've been a lot of writers. They've just always been writing, and so that's kind of me. I've always been writing, but I started taking it very, very seriously about almost about 5 years ago. And then,
perfect.
But yeah, I will say to people who are trying to break in, like, publishers are cool, but also like kickstarting is probably more viable than what you're going to get from most medium-sized publishers. Like, so
yeah. Well, it probably depends, but yeah, if you're like looking to just break in, Kickstarter might be a more viable option than a bad contract at a company. And I'm not saying anything specific. I'm just saying, like, no matter what, look at your contract, even between each other. Look at it carefully. Have a professional, have a lawyer look at your contract.
Yeah, highly recommend that.
There we go. Zach, thank you for giving the audience some advice too, though, on how to look for artists. I appreciate that, and I wish you a lot of success.
Absolutely. I'll hope to be back.
That would be nice. That would be awesome. Have a good night.
You too.
Well, the next person has also been very patient. Shane, get ready. I'm adding you in.
Hey, Chris. How's it going?
Shane from Scratch Comics. How are you tonight?
I'm good. It's pretty late here. It's nearly 2:30 in the morning.
Oh my goodness! I feel bad. I think that like people would have understood if they knew the time zone. If I had bumped you ahead, I didn't know anything like that. Where are you calling from?
UK. Yeah.
The UK.
Yeah.
The UK.
It's pretty late, but I'm a night owl. I don't sleep much, so that's cool. I've actually got to go to a convention in the morning as well, so I've got.
Which convention?
It's MacPow in Macclesfield, which is the northwest of England. So it's about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour drive.
Is it?
Yeah. So I'm not going to be doing much
close
sleep.
to Scotland up there?
No. It's closer to me than to Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. Yeah, I don't know the area, but that sounds
That's
interesting.
Cool.
I thanks for staying up late, but I mean, it shows how important it can be to promote your comics. What kind of comics do you make?
So, well, I've been making comics for a long time, actually. Started around 94.
Okay.
But the last 2.5 years, I've had Scratch Comics, which is my sort of solo endeavor, if you like. And I've been promoting that, publishing crime comics, horror comics, a little bit of science fiction.
Ooh.
If you Google Scratch Comics, you'll find. You should hopefully find our website.
Let's do it. Let's give some. This is a visual medium, right? And I think since this ends in a .co.uk, I've found it. That's a good clue. Let me bring it up. It'll take a sec. Is this you?
Yeah, that's us. Yeah.
Stokerverse.
Yeah, so I'm working with Dacre Stoker, the great grandnephew of Bram Stoker.
No.
Yeah.
That's not something I'd ever even think of, like that. Of course, there are still like relatives and stuff, but that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool to work with him, and his writing partner Chris McCauley, and we're doing it's the official sequel, if you like, to Dracula. So it picks up, but it's in comic form, obviously. So it picks up after the end of the novel, and we're just carrying on the story from there. Very authentic, it's based on notes that because Dacre is also an expert on Bram Stoker and on Dracula, so he probably knows more than anybody else about Dracula. So,
well, how did you guys meet then?
I met Dacre through Chris McCauley, who do you know? He's one of those people I've known for a few years, and I don't even remember how I met him. It's just you talk to people online, don't you? He's just like, yeah, I've known that guy for years. How I met him, I don't know. But we got chatting, and he came up with the idea. He's like, he said that I'm working with Dacre Stoker. We want to do a comic. We'd really like to, work with you guys. And at this point, I'd only published one comic as Scratch Comics, which was our Hedrick comic, which is a
here it is, Hedrick.
Yeah, there you go.
Night of the Mummies, the collected edition.
Yeah, so Night of the Mummies is it's a psychological crime thriller, I suppose.
Okay.
We just kickstarted Night of the Mummies collected edition. We did a 4-issue series, and we've just collected it. So that's
is this a comic or a book?
It's a graphic novel, if you like, for want of a better word. Yeah. It's a trade paper, but there's a trade paperback, and we did a special hardback edition on the Kickstarter. So we've just released issue 2 of Dracula there with a beautiful cover. That first issue the cover is Ben Stenbeck, who you probably knows worked with Mike Mignola.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's really striking, isn't it? Yeah.
This is gorgeous too.
And that's Mike Collins, who's probably most famous for working on stuff like Transformers. He was co-creator of Gambit. He currently does storyboards for Doctor Who. He's a bit of a comics legend, but I've known Mike for many years, and we managed to persuade him to do that.
Shane, how are you making money? These are very reasonable prices for the size books you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty tight. I will, especially when you go through Diamond, and they take 60%.
Yeah.
You have to go for like high volume, I guess. We've done okay though. We've done okay, and it's for the moment, because we're at the beginning. It's about getting the books out there, getting them in the shops, getting them online, and getting people to know about them. Really, very passionate about these projects because they are. I mean, as the publisher, for me, it's about promoting obviously the guys I'm working with. But I'm very passionate about comics anyway. I always have been all my life.
Well, I just briefly glanced at the About Us, and it seems that you've got some history working within comics since the 90s. It said.
Yeah, for my sins.
and then you started this Scratch Comics about 2 years ago.
That's right. Yeah, 2022, I think it was. So yeah, 2 years. It's gone quickly.
You know what is you have, like, if we go here, we've got like 3 different comics. That over 2 years is plenty. Some publishers burn themselves out by trying to put out everything they can get their hands on, and it's too much to manage properly. But like, we, of course, everybody wants to build, but that sounds like a very normal pace that you guys are going at so far.
It's about all I can manage.
It sounds like a lot. Like, what goes into, like, what's a typical day for you look like these days?
Well, I have a full-time job as well. So, and I'm also in a band. So it keeps me busy, and it's basically all my spare time goes into making these comics because I just love it. I just love working with artists and writers. Yeah. It's just the best thing ever because I got into it wanting to be a comic artist, that as we all do, back in the 90s.
Absolutely.
And but then I found that I really enjoyed working with other people and like promoting them even more than I did my own stuff. And it's just really rewarding to take somebody's idea because all of these things began as ideas. No one came to me with a completed book. Everyone just said, "This is an idea I've got," and you find, don't you? Like so many people have ideas, but there's no one really there to nurture them.
That's fair. Yes, absolutely. Sometimes people are just an idea, and you need people that can actually follow through.
Yeah, that's it, and to help people find artists as well sometimes.
Sure.
I'm quite lucky. I've got quite a big black book of. It's quite literal. I have got a black book of.
So people at the convention
artists.
tomorrow, when Shane isn't looking, you're going to want to sneak a look at that black book.
Oh, it never leaves the house. Yeah,
Okay.
it's locked in a safe.
Yeah, I would hope so. That it's valuable to know artists that are looking for work and are talented.
I was very lucky I ran conventions for a while.
Oh, no kidding.
From 2006 till quite recently. And over that time, you just get to know lots and lots of artists. And so it was great. That was great for being then a publisher as well, because I knew all these artists and writers, and it was always I really like the fun of like someone comes with a script and says, I've got this idea, and then matching it up with an artist who's suitable for that script. I really enjoy that process. At the moment I'm working with Peter Hogan, who was the co-creator of Resident Alien.
Oh sure, yeah
on his new anthology, which is called Black Forests. So it's a horror anthology, and he came to me with all these scripts, and because we worked once together before on a script, and he came along and said, I've got like all these little horror stories, and I want to make them all into a book. Can you like match them up with artists? I was like, yes, please. That'll be real good fun.
Oh man, that's impressive, Shane. You've got some decent contacts already. So yeah, I all of these sound interesting. I have to admit, there's something very exciting when you say Dacre Stoker is a relative and is working on a Dracula book. There's something very exciting about that. I hope that has given Scratch Comics some marketing opportunities, because that just sounds interesting. Like that just sounds interesting to know, like the family history as well as like a comic. There's sort of a meta narrative to all of this that sounds interesting.
And in the second issue, there's a story in there with Bram Stoker in it, sort of like it's fictional, but it's a bit of fun. It's sort of saying this is how he came up with the idea of Dracula. This is the person that inspired him, because a lot of people think it's the Romanian prince whose name escapes me, Vlad Tepes. That's it. Yeah, Vlad. Yeah, and but there is a school of thought that thinks it's somebody else that inspired Dracula.
I would tend to think that it could have been a bunch of things, because that's how ideas happen. We hold on to, we hold on to all sorts of weird little bits and threads, and somehow the brain, not AI, puts them together and comes up with a new idea. That's amazing. Wow. And so I saw, by the way, your name is on things like, say, Dinosaurs versus Cowboys. Does that mean you wrote a story in this?
I came up with the idea. This time it was my idea.
Oh, okay.
That I came up with along with Chris McCauley. So we sort of co-created that for want of a better phrase, IP, if you like.
Yeah.
And I just love dinosaurs. So the story behind that is I just love old dinosaur movies like Valley of Gwangi, that sort of thing, and it was very personal for me, this project, because that was something that me and my dad both liked. My dad passed away just over a year ago, and that was something that we shared. We didn't get along too well, me and my dad, but something that we did get along with was we both love Westerns and we both loved old dinosaur movies. So
that's nice.
I'm dedicating the book to my dad, and it's a love letter to the old movies.
That's very awesome.
Very pulpy. We've got some great art from John McCrae. Owen Coveney from 2000 AD. And they just did a superb job on and that's John's cover there, and that's some of John's art.
Yeah, I like that. I like that quite a bit.
And there's an alternative cover which is on the ad here as well, which is by Cy Chinook. There's an alt cover. It's variant.
Well, here, let me.
So this is an ad on the back of another comic for
When
Dinosaur.
Worlds Collide, dinosaurs. That's a good logo. I like the claw scratches through the dinosaurs part. That's nice.
You got to have the claw scratches. It's a pulp book, you know.
You gotta.
It's got to be on the nose. You know what I mean?
No, it's good. It's good. It could be too busy, but it looks nice. I like it quite a bit.
This was a pulpy thing that Stas Johnson did for us.
Oh, I love Stas. Huge fan. I
Yeah,
talk to him online all the time. Stas
Yeah.
is such an underrated, fantastic artist.
Completely, yeah.
Yes, he did the Claudia Christian Dark Legacy stuff, right?
That was us, yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember him posting that art, but I never went the extra step to see that what the comic was, but that's you guys.
Yeah, that's it. We did. He was the interior artist on the first issue.
He's brilliant.
He is
Absolutely brilliant.
I love working with Stas. He's just a consummate professional, great storyteller, great draftsman, and like
he's worked for everybody. He's you know, he's done Batman and he's done Rogue Trooper and that's great that you got to work with him.
Oh, it's an absolute honor. Really, really, such a nice guy. I've been lucky enough to know Stas for many years, and he's just a really genuine. You know, he loves comics. You know, he loves his comics.
I get it. Yeah,
and movies and all the things that we love. You know, I think he's working on Rocketeer at the moment, which he said was his dream project. Yeah,
that's a good fit for Stas. Anyone that knows him knows that, like, basically sort of a 1930s, maybe 40s vibe, like that's his wheelhouse. He really likes that sort of pulp action. But that's really cool, man. It makes, you know what? Look at that. Like we're so far apart, you and I, but like we've got somebody that we know in common, and it sort of shows that comics are a kind of a small group. Even like when you start looking at the worldwide population, it's still like you're gonna know somebody in common if you talk to somebody else in comics for a little bit.
Definitely, it's like a little virtual village, isn't it? And everybody knows everybody, and you know, most of the time you can leave your door open. You know, are you
tabling at your convention tomorrow, or are you just going?
I
am
tabling. Yeah, we've got the latest issue of. That's a variant, but there is a different cover as well.
That's so cool.
Dark Legacies out, which is the interiors on this are by Glenn Fabry, who you may know
Preacher.
Preacher covers, 2000 AD.
Yes,
absolute legend.
Wow, Shane, I'm really impressed with the talent that you're getting together on these. Like, there's all of these people that you're working with have plenty to talk about within their work and their comics before they even get into talking about this project. That's you're doing a lot here. This is amazing.
It keeps me occupied. It's funny enough. The guy who you had on last, the Haunted on Mars, he was talking about Rafa Labosco. I'm also working with Rafa on Peter's book, on Peter Hogan's book.
Oh my goodness!
Great stuff on that. It's we've just got it's the Kickstarter's only in pre-launch at the moment. We're launching it tomorrow, actually.
Oh well, what is it? Let's bring it up. What's it called?
It's called Peter Hogan's Black Forests.
Okay, give me a moment to type that in, and I'm going to show that to everyone. Peter Hogan's Black Forest. Boo, 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 and there it is. Came right up. So let me add this. And so this launches, did you say tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be today, but we had a few little things to wrangle out.
Okay.
So it's going to be tomorrow now. But yeah, we've got Rafa Labosco in there. We've got Glenn Fabry. My good friend David Hitchcock, who is also the artist on our Hedrick book, who I always try and fly his flag because he's a great artist and he doesn't get enough credit for the amazing work that he does. But it's a great collection of people. Jimmy Broxton's in there. You might know from a few titles.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm really excited about this book. Very excited about it.
It sounds exciting. That I read Resident Alien. It was a really cool book. So yeah, I'm curious to see 6 stories of suspense in the supernatural. Perfect.
Yeah, and Steve Parkhouse, the artist on the Resident Alien, is doing the lead strip in Black Forest as well.
Oh, so cool! Yeah, his name is he's definitely an artist on the rise. He keeps getting a lot of interesting projects. That's great to hear.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Steve is it's amazing, really, because I was a fan of Steve's when I was a kid, when I mean, he's a UK artist, and he used to draw. Well, I first encountered him on Zoids. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. Wasn't that based on a toy, like a wind-up toy?
That's it. Yeah, the Zoids toys. But the comics were brilliant. I'm trying to think. I think it might have even been someone like Grant Morrison or someone like that who actually wrote the comic. You know, it was. Really
I know it was one of the people that basically came here to the States in the British invasion, and it's just in the very back of my mind, because Zoids wasn't as popular over here.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I had a Zoids toy, but I remember one day I came across it, and it was like a more British comic or something.
That's it. Yeah, and the artists in there, you know, there's people like, I think Steve Uell did some stuff for it. You know, there was some really well-known artists, but it was very of its time. You know, it was really riffing on Terminator and Aliens.
Yeah,
you know, it was very that sort of feel to it. You know, there you go, Spider-Man and Zoids.
Spider-Man and Zoids.
Yeah. Reprint title.
I don't know if they met each other, but anyway, yeah.
So it reran all the Ron Friends stuff, the Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends stuff in Spider-Man.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, that was what was out at the time in the US comics. So we were getting the reruns of that, and then they'd back it up with Zoids, which was an original UK story, you know. Which was fantastic.
Shane, I'm so glad I got to talk to you. Your books look really exciting. Thank you for staying up so late. I'm going to move on, but I hope that's good for you too, so that you can actually get at least a little sleep before the convention this weekend.
It's been great to talk to you, Chris. It really has. I'm a big fan of your show.
Likewise.
Been following it for a long time.
Continued success, folks. Scratch Comics, and on Kickstarter, Peter Hogan's Black Forests is the next big project.
Cheers, Chris.
Take care, Shane. That was really interesting. Everybody's been interesting tonight. I'm going to move on and see if Tommy Nickel is with us. I believe. Tommy, do you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I certainly can. How are you?
I'm good, Chris. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm having a great time talking to people about their artistic endeavors. I feel like I'm seeing a ton of art literally up on the wall behind you. Does that mean you're an artist?
I'm working on it. Kind of a segue from one thing to another.
Please.
This is a comic that I'm working on, and I'm working on drawing it myself. My first comic, which I'll get into right after this, I was the writer on, and I worked with an artist. But this one, I'm trying to do all myself, you know, really get the full comic creator experience on it.
I mean, I think that no matter what, like if you can do it, it's super valuable experience to try every role in comics. And not everybody can do everything, but on an indie level, personally, like, I've touched everything from, you know, coloring, lettering, printing, of course, the writing and drawing. So I think that's great that you're attempting that. What kind of stuff do you make?
So this book, I keep this side. This book is going to be about, so I recently, last year, moved to California.
Okay.
From New York. So a lot of changes. And this comic is about, I started working at a news station when I got here, and it was a wild experience. So I left that job, and I was like, you know, I wanted to work on something that I can do myself. This is my story. So, you know, let me, you know, write about the experience of moving across the country and then kind of discovering like what local news is like and how crazy that is as an industry.
That's a great idea. So is it completely nonfiction, or is it just inspired by life?
It will be kind of like, I was really inspired by Ducks, 2 years in the oil.
Oh yeah, Kate Beaton's great book.
Yeah, and I was like, it's good. It's like, you know, simple art. It's all like just story of her experience.
It's great.
So I kind of like that, where it was like, this is what I went through working at the news, and you know, here's what you don't see, after 5 o'clock, after 10 o'clock news,
Absolutely.
So yeah, but my first book, which I wanted to talk about, is called Helter Shelter.
Helter Shelter.
Yeah, so it's still early on. This is the first comic that I've done.
Okay.
So I do it with my the artist's name is Dimas. He's actually from Indonesia.
Oh.
And funny story, like how we met. We just met on a Facebook group. I was looking for an artist to work on this, and he sent me some of his stuff. He drew the cover.
Yeah.
Got a really cool like mix of a style between like Eastern and Western style.
Oh, here, let me change it to this so that people can see that a little closer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is nice.
It's got a lot of character to
That's very nice.
To like his style.
Yeah, fairly open, but like not too simple. Like there's still some detail to like the eyes and everything.
Yeah. So
that's pretty.
I drew here's like in the back I put like some of his designs for the characters and stuff.
And what is Helter Shelter then? What's the premise?
Yeah, so here's the premise. Helter Shelter is about a brother and sister who, after their father passes away, they find out he kept a big secret. And that secret was a bomb shelter underneath their barn that has people in it who think the world ended.
Oh my God.
So
that's
now,
dark.
Yeah. So now this brother and sister named Harvest and Rain, Helter, obviously, they have to kind of figure out, okay, how do we deal with this situation now? Why did our dad do this? What was the reasoning behind it? Who are these people? Why are they here? Why did they think the world ended?
Yeah.
It's just kind of a lot to throw at these two characters. And I think a lot of it comes from just where I was at that time in life.
Right.
I started this 2 years ago.
Were you in a cult?
Yeah, I was stuck in a bomb shelter underground.
You wouldn't, that normal thing.
Yeah, the Kimmy Schmidt thing,
No, but that. Go ahead, tell me. I interrupted.
Yeah. So I was working in TV and film, and I was just like, I really want to focus on comics. That's what I want to do, and I'm just going to do it. So I wrote this story, and at that time, just a lot of things were going on. I was finding out things from like extended family members and other family members, like, oh, this secret just popped up. This secret just popped up. And it was kind of a lot of like, how do you handle these like responsibilities that are kind of forced upon you?
That's relatable.
Yeah, and how do you deal with that? And the duality between like the brother and sister in the comic, Harvest and Rain, Harvest doesn't want the responsibility. He's just like, we'll call the police, we'll let them deal with it. Where his sister is kind of the more responsible one, where she's like, no, because these people, like, we're directly responsible for them now.
Yeah.
Because of what our dad did.
I see.
Yeah, so it's just kind of just exploring that. I like.
And there isn't a third sibling that's just like, I think we should keep them down there.
Yeah. No, it's just the two for now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Helter Shelter.
And let me ask something else specific to this. This is more of a technical thing. I'm going to bring this up again. So over here, we've got issue 1 for sale. This says issues 1 through 3 trade paperback. Is that actually available?
It was. It's sold out. So I have the first 3 issues, and I collected them into the trade. It's going to be 6 issues.
Oh, okay.
I'm finishing up the back 3 now.
Okay.
And I did my first convention, and I sold out of the trade paperback, which was great. But now I'm trying to be like, all right, when can I reprint so I can get these back out to people?
Well, yeah, you gotta, because now you've obviously got an audience if that's going to sell out.
Yeah. So I'm really trying to get the reprint as soon as I can. I know I really just have like the first issues available for people right now, but I just always wanted to hop on here and promote it when you do these. I think it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone else's comics have like seemed so cool, and then I was like, great, I have to go on after this guy's got Bram Stoker's like
great
family
nephew,
member.
But this sounds fantastic too. And I mean, I'm even seeing, like, just to be clear, there's some chat things they're saying, like, about this, or like, wow, that premise rules.
Yeah,
so like, there's and if you sold out of whatever you printed, there's an interest there.
Yeah, I love a story with a good premise, because I feel like that situation, there's hundreds of different things that can go on. And then, the snowball keeps rolling down the hill, and, these characters kind of get forced to like, where it's like, all right, you think you can avoid this, but you can't now. Now you really can't. It's like, now you're totally involved.
Wow. It sounds interesting. I'd sincerely like to get the 1 through 3 trade paperback. So
I think I tried to send you like the first issue at one point, but I don't know if it ever got there, to be honest.
I mean, I open everything that I get, and I have to admit, I'm sorry, I don't think I got that.
No, it's very possible. So I'm going to try to do reprinting as soon. No, Chris, I don't think it's anything you did. I might have got the address wrong or something, but
maybe
I want to do a reprinting as soon as I can, so I can get out there, because I've missed going to conventions and talking to the other people. And since I've moved, the area I'm in is not a big comic place at all. There's like 2 comic shops.
I've been there.
Yeah, so
I've been there.
That's why it's been good working on this, because it kind of keeps me in the comic mindset, even though I don't have the community aspect really.
Good idea.
Physically.
Yeah, good idea. And that's a big undertaking to do it yourself. So, pace yourself is all I'll say there. Like, don't burn yourself out going like, boy, like, if I had known how big this would have been, maybe I wouldn't have done it. Just take your time, because it sounds like a good story that will still be relevant however long that takes to tell. And Helter Shelter sounds like great. Without giving anything away, would you say that you keep in mind like that these characters are going to be different by the time the story's done? That this story like will change them like on some sort of emotional or level or something?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
I'm just curious.
I think the main characters of Harvest and Rain are kind of, if not directly inspired by myself and my girlfriend, during just those stages in our lives where, I felt like kind of stuck, and she, felt as if like we had to take on a lot more responsibilities and stuff. So it was very, these comments are very nice.
That's professional artist Sean Chen.
Oh, awesome. Wow.
He likes your premise. And look at this. This is our last guest. He's a comic publisher, and he says, I want to read this comic. So
I know. He was great. I mean, everyone's premise has been so cool on here, and I've loved all these comics.
Fantastic night. This is why I do
this
it.
Is like an all-star lineup. So I'm glad people just like my idea. And I
think it's very strong.
I can't wait to get more out there to people.
So let me just ask, like, if people want to keep up to date and can find out, okay, hey, there's like, he's reprinted or he's got this new book out, what's the best place that you want to direct them to as a starting point?
The best place to follow me would be on Instagram at Sir Tommy Nickel.
Sir Tommy Nickel.
Yeah, keep it pretty simple. That's where I will update anything of my comics. It has the link to my Big Cartel site.
Good.
And that's where I will let anyone know as soon as the reprints will be available.
Yeah, because I think you have some interest at this point. It sounds like you do. I'm interested. Let me bring this up. Add to stage. This you?
Yes. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay.
Oh, and you can see I have an alternate cover for the first issue.
Is that this?
Done by my friend Olive. She makes comics too, and she's great. She's a big I like to say she's an up and coming artist.
That's exciting to hear.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, you can see it a little here too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that this is a good idea.
Thank you, Chris.
I've moved across the country and not really known anybody. And also, I worked at a job for about 3 years before they downsized, and I had to change everything up. That's what got me starting this YouTube channel. So I can relate a little, to what you're saying. You're like, I made a big move. It wasn't the perfect fit for right now, but you're keeping busy with a creative project. I think that's a really healthy thing to do. I hope I'm right. I think it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the last thing I'll say because I want other people to promote their stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of why I got into comics. I got into comics in 2011, 2012 when Hurricane Sandy hit New York.
I remember. I've got good friends in New York.
Yeah, and I was on Long Island, and we got hit real hard. So we were out of power for 2 weeks.
Ugh.
And so there was nothing to do besides chop up the trees that fell down. And I remember finding a stack of comics in my house, which was weird because no one at that time was reading comics. So I don't know where they came from.
Do you have a bomb shelter in the backyard?
I think I think my dad was hiding something.
Yeah, I think so too. One more family secret in the Nickel family.
Yeah. But reading those comics, I think there was an Immortal Hulk comic in there. And just seeing Hulk with a beard changed everything for me. Because now I'm like, oh my God, you can do other stuff.
Yeah. You can. You can do anything.
And from that moment on, I was like, the ideas never stopped.
Great.
So thank you, Chris. I really appreciate this. Thank you, everyone, for saying nice things. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you jumping in, Tommy. I'm excited to check out your comics.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Have a good night. Yes.
You too.
All right. That was fun. Let's go on to the next person here who we've talked to before. We've got Erwin Papa. Erwin, you're muted, but do you hear us? Oh, now you're not.
I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
I am. Should I bring in Jason Lego Inc. at the same time?
Oh, is he here too?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
You guys know each other, right? You're both in this group?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That's cool. Yes, excellent. This is
Erwin and Jason from the Ink and Drink Long Beach chapter, we'll call it.
Yes.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Jason.
Nice to speak to both of you. And I see Erwin in front of you. 2 books you've been kind enough to send my way.
Yes, African Horseman and Juggy, Sewer Boys. I want to say that this is the first true remix. But before I get into my stuff, I'd love for Jason to promote the current project that we have going on with Ink.
I would love to hear what the current project is because I've been very impressed with the stuff that your team is putting out.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
What do we have?
This is the latest.
A newspaper.
It's a newspaper. It's a thick guy.
Yeah, it is.
And huge, but it's all cyberpunk. It's all sci-fi. It's got comics, illustrations, crossword.
Oh man, that's great.
It's so fun, and seeing the art on newsprint and just it's something to hold.
Guys, I was part of a collective of artists and writers when I lived in DC for 10 years, and we also started putting out a monthly newspaper that we called the Magic Bullet, oversized like that. Probably not as many pages as what you've got because we would do it monthly, maybe 14 pages or something like that. But I loved doing it in that format.
Oh, it's so cool.
What's the experience been like?
Oh, it's been great. It's the format brings out like so many weird things with the art that you might not expect, just like looking at it on a screen or something. But yeah, it's been fun, and like we want to do it quarterly is the plan, because I think if we were on a monthly, I'd not be here today.
Like I said, like it would either have to be much smaller and then not everybody gets to participate, but if quarterly, sounds like you'd get a lot of buy-in from your group.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you guys have seen the Sewer Boys and the Endangered African Hornman and Juggy, and it's no secret that Ink and Drink's got some good, talented artists working there.
Oh my God, yes. A bunch of different styles, but yes, a lot of incredible talent. I'm really impressed with your group. I can totally imagine how much it inspires each other.
Oh yeah, we're also on Discord, Ink and Drink Long Beach on Discord, so we're open to anyone. We do weekly draws and in-person events as well. But that's where it all goes down, and you just see people posting sometimes daily, sometimes weekly. But the output from everyone is just incredible. It's so inspiring, and you know, there's a lot of helpful type stuff as well. Like, oh, I'm having problems with this ink. Like, does anybody have a good recommendation and that kind of stuff? So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Let me bring that up just because I see it here. I'm going to add one more thing. Is this for people to look at or not?
Oh yeah.
That's the Discord link.
Yeah, please, everyone.
Oh wait, but okay, never mind. It didn't work right now, so maybe you've updated it. I took it from an old Instagram post. That's okay. I'll get.
Okay.
That's okay.
No worries.
Who's got the kids?
That's me.
That's awesome.
Sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. That's real life. I love it.
Right on. Yeah.
How big is the newspaper? About like because it looked really thick. Like and is it all color? Is it some of it black and white?
It's all color. It's 48 pages when it's all done.
Wow.
It's very. Just give you guys kind of a idea of the
get an
design
idea
here.
Do you have ads in there to support this? Because I have to feel like that would cost a bit to make.
It does cost a bit, and we currently have ads, but they're all made up for our own projects.
That's good though.
Except for one.
Except for one.
Except for one.
Because if you charge some ad space, if you're going to do it quarterly, that might not be bad for like some local businesses or comic stores or anything artistic.
Yeah, I think that's something that we can consider going forward. The newspaper is on Kickstarter.
Oh, it is?
What's if you look up Mass Cybernetics, we have 9 days left with just less than $200 to fund it. So
we can get that. We can get that. Mass Cybernetics?
Yeah, correct.
Mass Cybernetics.
I'm pulling it up. Hold on, I misspelled it.
Oh, Chris, in the future, like if we want to send you links, where would we send that?
You can put it in the private chat, and I'd see it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't think to tell people that. I'll think of that next time. Here, let me bring that up. There we go. Mass Cybernetics, a sci-fi newspaper. Folks, if this is your first time encountering either Erwin or Jason, like, they have a group, a drink and draw group, basically. Ink and Drink, Long Beach specifically. Really talented artists, and they've sent me some of their books. I've always gotten a huge kick out of looking at this art. So I strongly recommend checking this out, okay? Look at that. They're really close. I think we can hit that goal with over a week to go. That's definitely doable. Wow. Who did the cover?
That was done by Sobacor.
Very cool.
He's he's an animator, super talented, and
very cool. Oh wow, look at that! I mean, you look at this and definitely think of like, maybe Katsuhiro Otomo, maybe Jeff Darrow, maybe Mobius. Who did Ghost in the Shell? It's eluding me right now, but like that kind of stuff. This is great. What?
Oh, Shiro.
Yes, Masamune Shiro. And that's you, Erwin, that did this?
Yeah, that is correct. That
is beautiful.
Thank you.
That is beautiful. I'm just looking at it. If I get quiet, folks, it's just because I'm enjoying looking at art.
Also influenced by another Japanese artist, Katsuya Terada.
Oh, I don't think I know that artist. I'll have to look that up. Yeah. Hey, look, a shout out from a pretty talented guy, Jim Mafood, saying Sewer Boys rules. You guys are doing some amazing stuff, and I totally agree, obviously.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, I'm sure that if Jim was at one point he was living in that area, he would be joining you guys for this kind of stuff. This is just really cool that you've got a group. Like, how often are you guys meeting these days?
We meet in person monthly. The next in-person event is later this week on the 27th. But we also have on Discord, we have a weekly meetup. That's an online thing where we replicate the in-person event, but digitally. So we have a community online canvas where everyone can join and draw. And we also have an audio chat on Discord to,
chat. Yeah. So it's a virtual way of hanging out. I do that with some of my buddies on Discord too. Discord chat has been like eye-opening this year to me. These are great. Jason, this is really, really cool.
Oh, thank you, dude.
What did you draw with this? Like, it looks like it's a couple things. Is this mixed media?
Yeah, it's mostly like a dip pen.
Okay.
Like similar to like something like, Pinky. And then I've got my whiteout, and I just use my finger, dip pen, and just really get in there, and it works somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. I like a little bit of scratchiness or a little bit of chaos adds a lot of energy to a piece. So that's really cool. A lot of different art styles from your teammates, but like what a cool. These are all sort of like bonuses that you can add on.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are if you're a fan of any of these guys' work, you can you can add on the commission at the end of the transaction, and it will give you the option to commission them. So, if
that's a really good idea.
You wanted to see Erwin draw Juggernaut or whatever, or
or something
something new. Have you ever drawn Juggernaut?
I've done such a thing. Is right here.
Oh, here, let me jump back to show that a little bigger. I love that.
He's helping Hulk go to sleep.
If anyone could.
Yes.
Jug. That's so fun, dude, guys. I mean, you guys are just like, I don't know. There's something about this group that gets me excited because it feels like the possibilities are just like anywhere. That's just what it feels like when you open a page. Like when I've flipped through both of these books that you guys have sent me, I don't know what I'm going to get on the next page, and that's really exciting. I loved all the turtle stuff. I'm a big Turtles nerd. So to see different people interpret that was fun for now, but it also took me back to my childhood when I was first sort of getting into comics. That was the era when Eastman and Laird started getting so busy that they like brought in all sorts of like, just like friends, fellow pros, and studio mates to do fill-in issues of Ninja Turtles. And you'd get stuff like Michael Zullo doing the turtles as samurai with beaks and stuff like that. I love how you guys did that.
Most definitely. Could I briefly explain the remix aspect of this book?
I would love that.
Now, most people are familiar with Ninja Turtles, and the true fans, such as yourself, are fans of the first issue. Now, everyone's familiar with the first issue, but with this book, it's not just a one-for-one remake. Like, there's not just one page one. There's a multiple page one. So you have this one. This is pretty traditional. There's some thinking behind it with the planning where you have, if you're familiar with the first page of the issue, you have the panel up top, close up of the turtles, then you get the group shot, and then some of the gang. But then this one, it's a little slightly different. But then you get it again here.
Yep.
Where this one, it's like it's still following the structure. You get the group shot at the bottom, but now you're getting the weapons up top.
Right.
Then you get it again here. But this time, it's not turtles. It's all the bootleg versions of inspired by the Turtle Street Sharks, SWAT Cats, Samurai Pizza Cats, and Biker Mice from
all the stuff that was biting them.
And it keeps doing that. And the cool thing, too, is that you get to see how Philip McVan drew his version, how Kevin Catalan drew his version. Oh, if you also want here's a little story for you. Let me see if I can bring it up. But one of these pages, or no, actually two of these pages were printed in as exclusive covers in the IDW Turtles.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This one was another one by these two are by Kevin Anthony Catalan. This one was printed as a Comic-Con exclusive, convention exclusive cover. And then where is the other one? There's another one too.
I love all these pages. This is so cool.
Yeah.
God.
But I guess you just have to buy the book to find the other cover.
That's fair. That's fair. But it's so exciting what you guys have done with that. Like, and I remember when I first got it in the mail and I was going like, oh, cool. It's all these different artists' take on Ninja Turtles. And then it slowly like hit me like, wait, this looks familiar. And I realized that like there were just several different ideas on remixing each of the pages and sometimes multiple takes on those pages. I love that discovery. So I think it's like good for like fans of art, fans of comics, fans of Ninja Turtles. There's a lot of cross section that will appreciate Sewer Boys and your endangered what is it? Endangered what? Horn Man? Endangered African Horn Man and Juggy. I always get tripped up on that one. Sorry. It's so fun. All right, do you guys think we might do another like that though? Another sort of like big remix book at some point?
Yeah, we've had discussions on what the next one would be, and we just I don't know. It's been difficult. Yeah. It's been difficult to find like what's that
uniting factor.
Uniting factor, and what was like that's just a popular one shot or first issue that we can all agree on. I mean, there was a poll for this. Like we also were thinking of Giant Size X-Men.
Yep.
The new Fantastic Four with Art Adams.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, but we're also thinking like some other people like wanted like bigger stories. So it's like, I don't know, like this is already 34 pages.
Exactly.
Original issue 40 pages.
Because I'm trying to think of like a short Batman story that's also classic. Because that would be really interesting to see people do. Like Batman's pretty versatile in terms of being able to experiment on. But it's stumping me like a classic short story that I could think of.
That's so weird. It's so weird that we can't find something.
But I think that that it's so cool that you guys are doing multiple projects. What about like conventions? Do you guys table together at conventions and stuff sometimes?
We haven't tabled together, but some of us have tabled separately. There's the other co-founder of Ink and Drink, June. I've tabled with him at DesignerCon for several years. This past WonderCon here in Anaheim, I tabled with Nathaniel Soyo, who's also a part of Ink and Drink. So it's slowly getting there. I would hope. I'm hoping that we could do it together.
That would be nice. Yeah. Somebody asked me to put the link in the chat for this. I'm putting in your cybernetic newspaper for now for them to look at.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. And if anybody's curious about Sewer Boys, that's also a purchasable option on the Kickstarter.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, under like rewards, you've got a here I'll bring it up again. There you go. Like if you're looking at the Cybernetics newspaper and you go to rewards, there is like an extra tier, so you could add like the Sewer Boys trade paperback over here.
Totally.
You guys, what a great group. I hope you guys are together for a long time, because it seems like you're really pushing yourselves to just experiment with the format and with your own art. I love that. I love that.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff that I love. That I love playing with. And we are also working on another project after Mass Cybernetics. It's going to be a pinup book, and I think it might come. The Kickstarter for that will be around October. I want to say
October-ish. You'll have a Kickstarter up.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, I have another one of these. I think, like, I'll try every 4 to 6 weeks to do this, since it seems like people have things to promote, and I love talking to you guys. Like, please, like, anytime any of you are available, I am so impressed with what your group is doing, and I like to promote it not just for how good the comics are, but I want to put this idea out there for people in other areas, because when I moved to DC for work, I didn't know anybody, and I formed some of my absolute best friends. I had one of my friends in the chat tonight promoting his comic, Troy, because we started a group like this, like where we would meet once a month at a bar, and we just talk about comics history or comics that we've discovered. It could be indie, it could be mainstream, it could be foreign. And we would just like talk about it and draw together and do these jam projects. It was just some of the most fun times I remember having. Like, it was just a great, great time. And I hope other people, if you move somewhere or you're feeling like you're not connecting with people, an idea like this is just a great, great way to meet some like-minded people, in my opinion.
And I can't stress it enough. We invite everyone of all skill levels. There's some people that just show up to the bar because they're going to the bar that night, and then they see us drawing, and then they just want to join and draw. It's like,
I love that. That's so nice that you're welcoming like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. And there's been some moments where there's like established artists that will show up to our events, and you get to draw right next to them. Like, when is that ever going to happen like that?
I mean, maybe at a convention if you're lucky. Otherwise, you got to look for groups like this.
Yeah.
But I think that like things like ink and drinks, drink and draws, whatever you want to call it. But I just think it's a great way to socialize on a level that isn't as intense as like just meeting one stranger and feeling obligated to like have a conversation with them. You're going to have things in common here. You might have some social lubricants. And no matter what, you could even just quietly like draw and listen to people until you feel comfortable jumping in. In my opinion, that's what I've seen happen at like my group, and it was great. So
yeah,
huge kudos to you guys for keeping this rolling with some great ideas. What's that thing that says special at the bottom of your screen?
This is another book that I was also part of. This is called Spring Special, organized by Jared Cody Wolff.
Okay.
And he's accrued a bunch of artists to play with different IP.
Okay.
So we have
I see Toxic Avenger, I see The Simpsons.
And it's just like this book is really good too. You got Ronald McDonald characters in here in a hard boiled.
Oh man, one of my favorite movies, and the only thing that would make it better is get rid of Chow Yun Fat and swap in Mac Tonight. Brilliant. Brilliant.
I don't think I can show that.
That's all good though.
Based on not on the movies but on the toys.
Okay. Right, which famously did not have likeness rights, so they looked a lot more muscular and buff than the actors.
Yeah, you don't remember that in the movie where they shot the giant missile from the Jeep?
Somehow it's eluding me. I'm sure that Spielberg had it in there.
Yeah, this is by JB Rowe. Wrestling.
Dope.
What else do we have?
All sorts of characters. Yeah, Jetsons.
I did a 4-page on Gumby.
Perfect. That's awesome. Oh wow. Okay, and we've got a little bit of Akira going on there. A lot of Akira going on there.
Do you read this, Megan Mogg?
What is that?
Simon Hanselman's Megan Mogg.
Oh, I don't know that one.
This is really good. Oh man, this one, if you can find, is that the one from the 22? He did Simon Hanselman. He did a strip based with these characters in 2020 during the pandemic, and it was almost like a daily strip of like current stuff that was happening.
Yeah.
All like within pop culture stuff. When David Joe shows up on Joe Rogan, David Joe shows up in here.
Oh, okay.
It's
Huh.
just
Crazy.
oh yeah. Oh, sure.
It's all good.
You're gonna get him taken down.
Demonetized. No, you're allowed like fleeting stuff when it's in an art context. You sent me that one too, didn't you, Erwin?
Yeah, Gangsters Boys. Yeah, this is just my art book that I've been.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
This one, I will admit to how stupid I was. Did you know that you can draw stuff digitally and print it physically?
Yeah.
For the longest time, when I put out a previous art book and I drew everything traditionally.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's time for me to put this art book out. And then in 2020, I got an iPad right before the pandemic.
Okay.
And I was starting to draw in there, and that's also where the Discord for Ink and Drink came out of too. Was the pandemic? We're all stuck at home, so now we just put everything online. For whatever reason, I only realized then and there that I did all these digital drawings. I was like, oh, you know what? I could put this in a book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so just a bunch of stuff.
It looks awesome. I've seen it. I love it. Anything else you got? Either of you guys want to promote? I should like.
Yeah, I'll do it real quick. I don't know if you got this one. Maybe I can send this to you later, Chris. This is File number 1, written by Warwick Walker, drawn by me. This is a cyberpunk horror story, or horror in the cyberpunk world. It's about a addict who accidentally injects himself with a top secret science experiment, and from that he gains superpowers, which leads him down the road to redemption. Black and white, gray tones. I was trying to do my best.
I love the city stuff.
Jeff Darrow.
Oh yeah, I get that. I totally get that with all that detail on like just like background people. Totally, yeah.
There's a bunch of tagging.
I'm feeling it.
Canvas to do with tagging. I think this is one of Jason's favorite tags right there. Erwin eats turds, big ones.
Big ones.
So I might have inspired that.
That looks good, man. What's it called one more time?
It's called the Vial.
Vial.
Yeah. Vial number 1. That's on the store. Have my character, the Anger's Warrior. It's a barbarian who travels the lands of the old world to search for his missing sword. For without it, the more angry he gets.
Oh, I like that.
The black and white, written by my friend Warwick Walker again.
That looks good. That looks real good.
Got that. When he
that
does
was an earlier one that you did?
This is that's so cool. I didn't put the date on here, but this was probably like 2019.
I can just see a bit of an evolution. I really can. It's great. It looks great, but like, yeah, I see an evolution going on, which is exciting.
Also, when he gets angry, he yells angry.
That's a good catchphrase. I might steal that one myself. Here's the thing, I'm never angry.
Chris got angry.
Oh, Psycho Gorman, yeah.
Yeah, Psycho Gorman from Lethal Comics, run by Andy Billinger. I did a short story with Cody Goodfellow.
Very cool. That was a fun movie.
Yeah, that was a fun movie.
I mean, it had a like a talking appliance voiced by Rich Evans of Red Letter Media. What's not to like?
Oh my God.
Jason, how about you? Anything else you want to plug?
Oh man, it's been all mass cybernetics for the last couple months. So that's really all I'm trying to work with right now. If you like Angriest Warrior and you want to see his next chapter, Erwin and I worked on a strip in the paper.
Right.
Oh, cool.
Also, E.T.'s been missing since 1982.
Yeah.
Probably, if you have any info, please. His family misses him.
I've been looking for him all over, Jason. I hope that I can find him soon. I've been walking hours on end every day.
Well, we're all looking for him. We're all looking for him.
Yeah, hopefully he can show up soon.
But here's
that's good.
Yeah.
That's so cool that you guys did it in full color. Wow. It's an expensive project.
It is. It felt a little weird. Like, we wanted to keep it relatively cheap, but like charging, it's $15 for the paper and, $5 shipping.
That's totally reasonable. That is so totally reasonable, guys. Newsprint is technically cheap, but it's also not used as much anymore. So there isn't much of a discount compared to regular paper anymore. Look at that. E.T.'s made an appearance. We found him.
Jason,
found him.
E.T. Yes. Oh my God. We've been looking for you everywhere.
Here I am.
It's E.T. It's really him. He's real. E.T. is real.
I'm real.
You're real. I knew it.
I'm a real boy.
Hi, E.T.
Hi. Hi, Chris.
Oh my God, it's E.T. Oh my God. Oh, I can't top that, guys. Guys, good luck with mass cybernetics. I'm going to
Thank you, Chris.
I'm going to say hello to some other folks. But bye, E.T.
Kick us off before E.T. gets crazy.
Bye. Goodbye, guys.
Bye-bye.
It was awesome talking to you both. Thanks, guys. All right. I'm going to move on. Levi, you've been super patient. Whoop. Okay, there he is. Hold on. Hello.
Hey.
Am I saying that right? Levi?
Yeah, Levi.
Levi.
Like
How
Steve
are you
Vai.
tonight?
Oh, good. Good. Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Thanks for being patient. I'm trying to be fair, but I want everybody to get a chance to talk about what they're doing. Tell us, what are you doing?
I'm doing a book about Bigfoot. Been a fan of the subject since I was a kid.
Really?
Grew up in Arkansas.
Okay.
2 hours driving from Fouke. So when I saw the Legend of Boggy Creek, I was convinced it was coming to my neighborhood.
Oh, I remember the movie The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Yeah, it's like a
That takes me back.
It's like a documentary,
Yeah,
But,
it's been a long time since I saw that, Levi.
There's a scene where it reaches in a window.
Yeah.
And I was convinced that it was going to come to my neighborhood and reach in my window,
You know what they called it when I lived in New Orleans? That's the closest I got to your area. They called it the skunk ape down there.
Oh yeah, skunk ape. All kinds of different names for it. But yeah, that's
This is it?
Yeah, that's actually I got to update that because I have those books in. They're ready to rock.
Oh, that's great.
So they're mini comics. I've got chapters 1 and 2. I'm doing chapter versions.
Okay.
12-page mini comics because my production rate with the daily grind is if I wait to do the whole book, then it'll never come out.
Okay. About how many pages?
Yeah, about 12-page digest size mini comic.
Sure.
And the way the story's looking right now, it's going to be about 12 chapters. So one mini comic per chapter.
Wow.
But
that's a big story.
Yeah, it's I've got human characters, and then we're going to flip it to the Bigfoot characters as the story progresses.
Really? Okay. You're going to
really
see things from the point of view of the monster, Bigfoot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Cryptid.
At its core, it's a story about relationships. You know, the conflicts between the humans and the creatures, the conflicts amongst different humans, the conflicts amongst the different creatures, and how they want to deal with the, you know, all the friction points that they come in contact with.
Interesting. So this is just like mythology that you encountered early on, and you've been interested in it ever since?
Absolutely. And then I just feel like the legend itself hasn't been given like a good treatment that I'm aware of.
Yeah, you say that, and it's true. At least not in like, I mean, what's the most popular version? Something like Harry and the Hendersons? Like, what would be the most popular version? I don't even know.
You know, there have been lots of movies, lots of, you know, I feel like some good attempts and some false starts.
Yeah.
That's a lot of just horror gore.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And there's definitely going to be elements of that in the story. But you know,
suburban
there's a legend, there's a legend, there's a lore, you know, and yeah, I just want to get it out there.
Is Bigfoot something that you believe in, or do you say no, it's a hoax, but it's an interesting story? What's your take on it, Levi? Give us an idea.
I'd call myself a believer, you know.
Would you?
Because it's reasonable up to a certain point.
Okay.
There's historical evidence. There's eyewitness accounts that date back centuries. I mean, for what they're worth.
I'm not an expert. I've never looked into this. Give me an idea. Like, no, well, I mean, I know about like the famous photo, and that was like a father and son duo, I think, that were like, you know, later said that they were just wearing a costume or something. But like, is there some sort of like a evidence that is that something that's in the comic?
Yeah, so one of the main characters is a retired biophysicist, biomechanic expert.
Okay.
And she has an encounter. The story kind of opens up with all the people of the community having these different encounters. And we ride along with the sheriff deputy that kind of ties them together.
Yeah.
And we get a sense of sort of like the goings on and what might be kind of bringing these encounters a little bit more to the fore, a little bit more, you know, why are people and these creatures, you know, starting to interact with each other a little bit more. And,
okay.
And, you know, and it's kind of based on the lore that we hear from going back to the 20s, or even to, you know, different native tribes in North America have references to what could be referred to or interpreted as, you know, a Bigfoot type creature. So, you know, I'm in the camp, if it exists, it's some kind of animal, flesh and blood. And
sure.
my Bigfoots in my story are that.
Okay.
They're not human intelligent. They're not gorilla intelligent. They're somewhere where the story needs them to be, you know?
Oh, okay.
And
do you think that there's like more than one type? Is this something that's throughout the world, or is this something that's like localized to a certain region?
Well, there are accounts of similar creatures all over the world.
That's what I'm sort of getting at. I'm curious.
Yeah, there are
as somebody that just doesn't know.
Yeah, there's reports of Sasquatch encounters in every state except Hawaii. You know, for better or for worse.
Okay, so I'd be safe in Hawaii. I just have to worry about volcanoes.
Yeah, I think you're pretty safe from Sasquatch regardless. But unless you're 11 and you live in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and you just watch Legend of Boggy Creek on cable TV.
It's gonna reach in through the window at you.
Yeah. But
interesting. So you've done some research, and that helped found the background for the comic that you're making.
Yeah. I've been reading on the subject since I was a kid.
Wow.
One of the first little, you know, they'd have those book days, the book fairs.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was about in first grade, and I picked out a Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster book.
That's amazing.
So it's followed me, you know, through the In Search ofs and the Monster Quests and the Finding Bigfoots and And
it's a big thing here in the Seattle area, you know.
Well, yeah, you're up there in the Pacific Northwest, so that's
people always have like Bigfoot stickers and shirts and stuff everywhere here. Like sincerely, like the Pacific Northwest is like, whoa, you know, like
that's the epicenter. You know, that's the
is it?
That's the mecca. That's where the lore first came to light. You know, I think the 1924 was the Ape Canyon siege. Which some miners may or may not have been assaulted by a tribe of Bigfoot.
Wow,
they did
I didn't
abandon
know about that.
They did abandon their cabin and most of their gear, so you wouldn't just do that.
No, that's true. It's pretty remote, like when that kind of work. Yeah, that's not safe.
Right, and that
so something scared them.
Absolutely. You know, but it's fun. It's part of Americana. I mean, it's bigger than Americana, and it's a subject that I really enjoy and that I have a story about.
So you've got 2 issues out, and you make them available on Etsy here? Is that the main way you sell them?
That is correct. That's on Etsy. And my plan is every 2 chapters I'm going to combine into the full-size floppy.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And so right now, and I just have a few left, and this actually is a proof. I just did Heroes Con last weekend.
Oh, fun!
And I sold.
Geez.
This is the cover of the chapter 1 and 2 combined. So that's the Bernie Wrightson homage.
We got some Bernie Wrightson homage going on there.
Yeah, and funny thing, when I started doing that. It was last year. I realized that the publication date of the Swamp Thing issue was April of '73, and it was April of 2023 when I was doing it.
Oh, okay.
So that
nice.
was just kind of a
50 years. Oh my goodness. Sometimes Swamp Thing doesn't seem that old to me. I mean, it's older than me, but it doesn't. Yeah, that puts it in context. That's fun, man. So you think you've got it mapped out for sure, 12, or are you just sort of ballparking that right now? Like how far do you have it like mapped out?
I've got it mapped out to the end now.
Okay.
And I go by the editing process of cut out everything you can. You know,
smart.
You know, you're better off to cut out as much as possible.
Yeah.
But I'm giving myself 12 chapters. You know, 6 full-size floppies sounds just about right.
I think that sounds like a very reasonable amount. Did you just go to Heroes as a fan, or were you tabling? Like, what was that?
Oh yeah, I was tabling with my buddy, and we do our own little YouTube show about being, you know, comic creators in a never-ending battle against the grind.
What's that called? Let's pull that up.
Comics in the Making.
Comics in the Making. Bear with me. I'm going to see if I can get that. Comics in the Making. And look, first thing that showed up on Google. So you've got a title that nobody else has grabbed. That's good. Let me add this here. This you?
That's us.
I've definitely seen your logo pop up in sort of like recommended stuff. That looks familiar to me. So that's good.
Very cool.
Yeah. How long have you guys been doing this?
Yeah, my co-host Ryan Holgerson does mostly all the thumbnails. He does a great comic called Slackmatic.
Okay. Yeah, Slackmatic Studio Tour. There you go.
And I do the thumbnails that don't have the characters.
Okay. Okay. How long have you guys been doing this?
Just about a year. So we're growing. I started it by myself just to hype the book, and then
smart.
I interviewed Ryan. Came on pretty quick, just as an interview, and after that interview was done, I called him up and said, "That was good. You're co-host now. You know that, right?" He goes, "Yeah." So
that's fun. See, yeah, it looks like you guys put stuff out a few times a month.
Yeah, we try to shoot at least twice a week, and sometimes that yields just one video per week. Sometimes it yields 2. It just depends on, you know, whether or not we're good at what we're doing at the time.
Yeah, and you keep it like close to 30 or so minutes one side or the other, maybe closer to 40. But yeah, that's good.
Cool.
I've always liked the vibe of at least two people like sort of bouncing ideas off each other. I don't have somebody in person to do that with, but that's why I sometimes do things with like on this channel. I do a movie show with Jim Mafood. It's just fun to talk to other people. That's why I do something like this, to meet like, you know, people that I've never talked to before, like you. I keep calling you Levi because that's your screen name. Is that what you go by?
Yes, it's my full name. It's just a fun, cool spelling of it.
Just making sure that I'm getting it right.
No, absolutely.
That's awesome, man. Well, good luck with the YouTube. Anything else you're working on right now?
Oh, that's pretty much it. That and I'm raising kids and in the midst of switching from working in a brewery to teaching game design at high school.
Wow, that's a huge change, man. Good luck with that.
Oh,
are those skate decks in the back there? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Did you do the art on them or something? What is it?
Oh no, they're old school ones. A couple I had when I was a kid. Some are just reissues or ones I.
That's awesome. Did you check out by any chance the new comic Grommets by Rick Remender and Brian Posehn?
Yeah, that is dope.
It's pretty accurate to like the culture of the time.
Oh man, that is like wow. You know, that's like a comic I've wanted to do. You know.
Hey, well, still do it then. But yeah, that's really cool, man.
As soon as the Bigfoot thing's done.
Okay. Yes, one thing at a time, or two is plenty. Levi, thank you for sharing. And yeah, folks, the website, I'm saying the YouTube channel is called Comics in the Making, and the book is also through Comics in the Making, but on Etsy, and it's called The Big. Anything else?
Right. That's it. Thanks a lot, Chris. I appreciate it.
I appreciate your time, Levi. Continued success to you.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. All right, we do have one more guest here I'd love to bring in. Andre. Hey. Andre, I think you might be the final guest of tonight. You've been very patient.
Yeah, my internet was really bad tonight. It was like going on and off like the whole time.
I'm so sorry.
But I was in between my phone and my tablet, and I was drawing the whole time. So it was good. It was good.
Oh my goodness, that sounds frustrating. But thank you for being
here. That's okay.
How's your night
going? I've been following you for forever. I love your show. I love your channel. I love especially the first the oldest videos, the ones that you have the challenges when you eat something and drink. I love it. I think I probably got to know the channel because of one of those Rob Liefeld videos.
Oh yeah,
the old really old ones.
Yeah, I think maybe the second or third episode I did was reading Liefeld and eating hot peppers or something like that.
That's the one. That's the one, definitely.
It looks like you threw something into the private chat, and I take it this is one of your books. Is that correct?
Yeah. So that's Meta. It's a meta-linguistic crime division. We have Scout published 4 different covers like that. This is the one that I did.
Oh, did you? You drew that?
Yeah.
Are you the artist? Are you the writer? Are you both?
I'm the artist.
You're the artist.
Yeah. So yeah, So it's about police division that investigates meta-linguistic crimes. So the first that's the thing. We did this whole big thing. We released the first trade in 2020 in Brazil because I'm from Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to live in Canada. I lived in Toronto for 2.5 years.
Okay.
It was back when I was drawing this, and we released the first trade paperback here in Brazil in 2020, and then the Scout released the first single issue, like 2022, I think. They're supposed to release the trade paperback like last year or this year. I don't know. Like the writer is the one that knows about like the whole thing. I'm just like waiting for it to be released.
We've heard that like Scout has had some difficulties with their release schedule and everything, but the congratulations, parabéns, is that congratulations in Portuguese? Parabéns.
Parabéns, yeah.
Parabéns. Yeah, I only know a word or two, but congrats on getting this book out. What's your background in art?
I've been working with comics for the last 10 years mostly. I'm graduating in industrial design. I worked with web design for a long time until like I couldn't stand it. And with illustration for like mostly for RPG books here in Brazil, and a couple of like small gigs. I did like one issue, like a couple of illustrations for a German magazine called Mephisto. Like for I think it was Lord of the Rings, something like that. Like long time ago. And like some trading cards for like a vampire, like this kind of stuff, like for abroad. But most it was like I did like one card for like I forgot the name of the game. It's like but it's the trading card game, not the RPG, not the book.
Magic?
No. The vampire I forgot the name of it,
but that's okay.
Yeah, me neither. I love vampires. Like I had like a vampire comics for a long time, but I'm not like, especially for games, for like trading cards. That's not my thing.
Being from Brazil, do you go to that convention, the CCXP in Sao Paulo?
Yeah, like every like the only times that I didn't go was back when I was living in Toronto.
Sure. I had a ticket to go down to Sao Paulo and go to that convention for 2020, but you can probably remember what happened. And
I was 2020. I was in Toronto. I had to come back to Brazil because of the pandemic, because like was the whole mess.
Yeah. I'd love to go down there someday. So my wife and I had made like quite a bit of plans for like exploring Sao Paulo, and I'd still love to go. I mean, it's just a massive.
If you ever come to Brazil, just hit me. I'll like get you. Like we at least have like a nice beer here. I can like introduce you to the right people.
I would love that. Of course, Brazil is a massive country. Are you anywhere down towards the south there, Sao Paulo? Or
I am like I'm currently living in Sao Paulo. Yeah.
Oh, you are. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks like an amazing
I
city.
used to live like I used to live like an hour from Sao Paulo, but now I'm back in Sao Paulo. Yeah.
That's an exciting city, and I know Brazil has a really healthy comic book culture. A lot of artists have come to work on various American comic books. Are you working on any new comics right now? Are you drawing anything right now?
I just finished the third issue of Meta. It's like it's another big one. It's like I'm gonna release it like next week. Tomorrow I have like a small convention. I'm tabling there. It's like it's like this is in a small city, like an hour from here.
Okay.
But it's gonna be like the first time that I'm like with this book. But we're gonna release it in a comic shop next week.
How did you meet the writer?
He's an old friend of mine. He's I actually I was the one who introduced him to a group. Like we have an anthology here, like an old anthology here in Brazil called Front, and he like my girlfriend back then. She was studying. She was like post-grad in marketing, and he was like studying there, and she saw like he was looking for someone to draw comics for him because he only drew write comics, and she was like, oh, this guy is looking for someone to draw his comics, and I was like, oh, I'm finishing this book, but like I can introduce him to other people, and then we start like playing board games together, and we like after a couple of years, like he was like, so I have like a book that I'm looking for someone to draw it, and are you interested? Yeah, I was like, yeah, definitely. I love your work. Like I love, because he did like a comic book that I'm a huge fan of it. Like he was almost adapt to a movie here in Brazil, and I was like, yeah, I was looking. I thought the book was like this one, which is like a really more about like relationship and this kind of stuff. And then he presented me with the script for Meta and was like, are you sure? Like I'm the one to do this? Because it's like really crazy. There's like a lot of because of the whole like style. Like sometimes like the characters jump from a comic book to another, and there's like cartoonish, which is not my style at all. Like I'm like more like a realistic. My style is more like realistic. And I have to like to do something to manage to work it out, and it's great. Like we've been like working for like 5 years now. It's like wow. I'm currently working in a our next book's gonna be like is almost like a fanzine of because it's not be like released by a publisher. We're gonna be releasing by ourselves, but it's not because of the contract. It's just like wanted to do something crazy, like something that the publisher probably not gonna be okay to publish. So we just want to release like something weird and crazy.
You should. Whatever excites you and keeps you engaged. This is amazing. But so you've got several issues of metalinguist crimes that Scout has put out, and you've drawn. Did you say up to 3?
Yeah. We have like 3 trade paperbacks. Like this is like 160 pages. Wow. The second one is a little smaller. Is like 60 pages. But no, it's 80 pages. But it's like it's more like we had to do like less pages because we have like there's a couple of things like we did like with the printing. So there's like for you to like read the whole story, you have to rip some of the pages.
Got it.
So because it's like this one is called The Reader's Journey.
Okay.
So like for you to read the whole story, you have to rip some of the pages to. So I have no idea if Scout is ever gonna publish this, or if they're gonna publish like the way we wanted to publish, but still, like I'm just right now, I'm just like hoping.
I hope so too. I mean, first of all, though, I mean, congratulations, obrigado, on making so many pages. That's a lot of story to have done, Andre. That's really
like impressive. For this one is like 130 30, 40 pages. I don't know. That's the one that I just finished. Yeah.
What do you have anything else coming up aside from meta in comics?
I'm like I just last year I did like this one with like wildlife. It's a comic book that I did with a friend of mine wrote the story. I did like the whole like the scripts, and I drew one of the stories, and two friends of mine drew the other stories. One of them is Caio Machado. He's like he's working currently in Marvel. Wow. He did like he did Pride, if like not Pride, the one for Latin and Spanish.
Yes.
I think he did like White Tiger or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And,
sure.
Yeah, and he did like a bunch of other stuff. He's like currently working with Marvel. But this book is about drug addiction, and I'm currently trying to get to some publishers. Like I talked to a publisher like last year when I was in TCAF in Toronto.
Okay.
And I'm trying to sell them the whole idea, because like the book is a very important book for me, because like my friend who wrote the story, he went through a lot, and it's like it's a really it's not like trying to preach something, like trying to saying like put like in a moral not trying to preach something, like, you know, like it is really close to reality. And it's like this is a book that I really love. Like I'm really proud of the result.
Where can people follow you for updates on your projects? Do you have any
I think it's
online?
I think the best way is on Instagram. It's at yes Cabrita. It's like YESCABRTA.
CRB. Oh, sorry. CABRTA.
Yeah, Cabrita.
I'm bringing that up. I'm missing one letter. Hold on. Okay, here, I'll pull that up. I see it. This is you?
Yeah.
It looks like you. Yeah. and so there we can see some of your artwork and know. Look, are you singing here?
Yeah. It was like it was a convention like last month, and some of my friends they have like a it was a band like with like only artists, and they were like, oh, I know, because like back when I was living in Toronto, one of my jobs was the host of karaoke in a hostel.
So fun. Really?
So they were like, oh, we know you sing, so would you be interested? Like, yeah, definitely.
I love it. And this gives us a pretty good look. I was curious, like your art style. You said you draw in a very realistic style, and I can see that. This is fun to see. I wish you a lot of success, Andre.
Thank you.
Fun talking to you, and I tell you what, if I can ever, get a trip down to Sao Paulo, I will
just hit me up.
Out now that I know what your Instagram is. I don't know.
Send me a message like, "Oh, I'm coming to Brazil." Like, yeah, I'll hook you up.
You'd have to tell me like the best restaurants at least.
I'll take you to have like the best pizza ever.
I love it.
São Paulo pizza. São Paulo pizza is the pizza.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I've never heard that before, but this is why you talk to the locals to learn that stuff. Congratulations on what you've accomplished so far. And I appreciate your time tonight. I hope you thank you for staying so late. I appreciate it.
No, I just finishing I literally finishing the page the last page for a book that I'm working. It's like a book that I literally did like 10 years ago, the art, and the publisher never published. So I managed to sell the like after the contract was ended. I managed to sell to another publisher here in Brazil.
That's good.
And but they were like, "Oh, can you like make a couple more pages?" Because it was like 45 pages. So I did like chapters ending, and like I had to make like a couple of new pages. So I just finished like the last page that I have to do. So on Monday I'll send everything. I just have to like rework the cover, and that's it. It's another book like I don't have to worry about.
Good luck with it. I look forward to following your Instagram and learning some more about you. But have a lovely evening. And I hope
you too. Like I love your channel. I think like a couple of times I see like you're struggling because of like your content. Like I love your content. I think like genius is like amazing things. Like so yeah. Like I hope like you know that like your content is amazing. And it's like it's worth it, and it's like that's the thing. Like we, like every time that I send to people, it's like like look it up. Like if your English is good enough, like check it out. This channel is the fucking amazing. Sorry about cursing.
That's okay. No, thank you. I believe I'm saying it right. Obrigado, and I hope I'm saying this word right. Adios.
No, it's like deals is like is too long. So like até mais.
What would it be?
Até mais.
Até mais.
Até mais.
Okay. Até mais. Good night. Thank
you.
Good
night. Ciao.
Well, that's everybody that was in the queue, folks. We had, I don't think I lost anybody. Thank you to everybody that was willing to show up and promote their book. It's fun for me to learn about new things. It's fun for me to test my interview skills. And hopefully folks are able to utilize this to get to a wider audience. Yes, people are watching this video, hopefully, and show some interest. But also, if anybody out there can just say, like, I talked to the guy from Comic Tropes, and that helps them, happy to do that. You want to clip something from this and put it in your social? Go for it. Thank you, everybody, also in the chat room. Really nice comments. I really appreciate it. Yeah, well, I plan to do this every once in a while, and I'll try to basically put a placeholder, like in the days leading up to it so that people can know that it's available. And if like that, it's not, I'll edit the description soon. There will be, there's always a PO box if you want to send something like physical. You don't have to. I would never ask anybody to do that. But if you want to, I also do the occasional unboxing videos, like an indie showcase. But I had a great time talking to everybody. There's some amazing comics, and I'm probably going to get poor supporting some Kickstarters and buying some comics. But what should we end with? Something positive. I won't just say keep reading comics, which I usually say. I'll just like say, but I don't want to like bite off what Ed and Jim had with keep making comics. What can I say that's of a similar vein? You have the power. I don't know. I got to think about that one. I'm open to suggestions for that. Yeah, if you wanted to jump in and just sort of like talk about something like that, absolutely. Yeah, like whatever. Yeah, keep supporting comics. I think until we've got a better idea that's a fantastic one. Thank you, A-Man. Keep supporting comics. We're the guys that make it all go round. Thank you, everybody. I will talk to you all soon. Keep supporting comics. Good night.